Al, give me a theme tune.
Bum chicka wow wow.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's the whole theme tune.
Yes.
Wow.
Short,
Well,
sweet, to the point.
Sing the theme tune.
you did
where's
say you
Martin
thought I
gone?
would like it. Yeah, Martin, where are you?
I get myself ready.
What the hell is that? Is
What
that
about? I had a few people last week messaging in going, I like them all. I didn't like that bald guy. I just wanted to grow my hair out this week so that I didn't really like what they're doing with it.
Is this because of all the cannonball head jokes
Yeah,
that you were
we
getting
played Monkey
in
Island
Monkey
this week.
Island?
We've got all these cannonball head. For people who are just listening, I've got a massive pink wig on. That you should, and maybe you should just be watching a YouTube video and you'll find out about it. And like, I don't know if you know, but actually every single female gnome warrior in World of Warcraft is actually based on me. Based on my pink. I've got the pigtails in a minute, obviously, because that'd be silly. You know,
Obviously,
it's downtime. It's late at night. I don't really want
Absolutely
to.
ridiculous.
that would be oh so silly.
Martin,
Well,
you're kind of turning me on, actually.
that's not hard.
But
though,
this is
is
why
it,
I don't
Al?
normally do it. I normally just go with a little bit of like zip it all off. Don't want to. But people thought that I couldn't grow hair, so I thought I would just prove them wrong.
Well, I can't
please,
take my
please
eyes
continue.
off of you, Martin.
Like a gnome who's let herself go after like 6 children.
I'm really good at shaving it as well.
God,
It's good. It's good. I feel clean now. I feel clean. It's nice.
I can't believe we put this stuff on the internet. I mean, really. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, it is Monday, February 29th, 2016, and you are tuning in to episode 2 of Game Genie. Hello?
We're getting there. We're almost at 50 again.
Hey, I am Max, totally futile Burzin. To my left, or on the right-hand side of the screen, is Joe Curtin-Marsh. Hey, Joe.
Hello.
The now bald again twat underneath me is Martin Dustus Walters. And the cameraless fool in the bottom right-hand corner is Alec Rev Big Al PhD Curry.
You didn't say that right. You have to have the capitalization on every other letter.
The most ridiculous name on the internet. Most people just
Is
call
that
him
my
Rev.
official title now?
Yes. Yeah.
Most ridiculous name on the internet. Thank you.
Yes, you do have the most ridiculous name on the internet. I don't think it's possible to get more confusing. I remember when we used to play World of Warcraft back in the old days, people used to try and pronounce it like it was one word.
I was impressed with the people who got more than halfway through the name and actually could still do it. And most people just gave up at the Rev.
Yeah.
Hence the name.
Which is
the
why
Rev.
you normally just get called Rev.
Yeah,
Or
this is
Al.
true. Well,
Dickhead.
they did very well. And Al is joining us for this week and possibly next week. Unfortunately, our regular Orthan, who was going to be joining us, or Rupert.
Our regular Orson.
Our regular Orthan.
our regular Rupert. Our regular Rupert has
I'll-
been
yeah,
detained.
I say regular. This is episode 2, and he wasn't here last week either.
Yeah, I do want to say it's pretty hard. It's like going, our regular co-host, President Obama, is yet again being delayed this week, but he definitely will be here this week. So join in next week to see Obama talk about some games. Regular.
That's all right because we've got Elvis filling in for him.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No, he's dead. I mean, that's just pushing it.
Well, tonight we are going to be talking about some of the games that we've been playing this week. We've got some news lined up for you, and then, if we've got some time after all of that, we're going to talk about the death of MMOs. Very sad, very sad. Well, the quote-unquote death of MMOs, I think, is a slightly better way of putting it, but we'll get in there.
The clickbait title.
Yeah, the clickbait title, that is the one. That is the one. Al, since you're new to the show, on episode 2, would you like to tell us a little bit about what you've been playing this week?
I've been playing mainly XCOM 2, I'll be honest. I had a little bit of playing my usual ARAMs in League of Legends. But yeah,
Wow,
just
do you
mainly
still do
XCOM
that?
2. Yeah,
He still plays Ava. When you found out that Dominion was getting deleted from the game, did you start to worry about your ARAMs and the possibility they will no longer be there?
Until you just told me I didn't know that Minion was being deleted from the game. Or is
I only
deleted.
found out last week.
No, I'm not bothered. It's one of those ones, if I've got only like half an hour or an hour to play something, I don't want to get into something. So, 20 minutes, half an hour to play one. You know, it's just a little bit of a
it's my Rocket League.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Little bit of dip in, dip out. Have a bit of fun.
What was it? XCOM, is it? Sorry.
No, ARAM in League of Legends.
Oh, I thought he said
all
he was playing
random,
XCOM.
all mid. The I don't know what do you call it?
All random, all mid.
No, but what kind of a game mode would you call it? Like it's not the main game mode. It's like a it's like a fun one that like because League is such a highly yeah, but
League is always tower defense.
But since League is such a highly competitive game and like regular Summoner's Rift is like everyone's got delusions of going to the LCS, ARAM is kind of the place where you go where people tend to actually not take it that seriously.
Yeah, it's the fun mode. It's
fun mode. That's the one.
It's like, like waves. You know, in like shooting games where it's just like waves. How many waves of things can you kill? It's that kind of thing, isn't it? It's just casual.
I would say it's more of like it's team fighting. It's League of Legends, but it's team fighting. There's no like CSing or laning or ganking. It's just team fighting basically. So that's why I like it. It's more action packed, to be honest.
Like ARAM is like very linear. Like, you know, we're just gonna poke each other and then have a bit of a fight, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I get you. There's more depth. You can run between lanes and all of that kind of stuff, and there's objectives to fight over. Which is the massive thing. So but that's the kind of thing I enjoy. I can't sit there and play like a 40-minute game of League of Legends anymore. It just seems so slow, boring to start off with. I just want to get to the, ultimates and the fighting stuff. So
I'm exactly the same when it comes to League. Like I still watch a lot of League, and I still every now and again get that feeling of like, I really like a game of League of Legends right now. But then I think, but it might last 50 minutes. And even though like I've got like...
That's what you want from a game. It's like, I might have to play this for an hour. I really only want a half hour out of this game.
But I don't know what it is about it. Yeah,
Even watching League, you get bored for the first 20 minutes. You kind of just want them to fast forward and pretty much ignore the laning phase.
But that's what Heroes of the Storm did. They got rid of the whole bit where you spend 20 minutes farming. Like, because you have the shared XP in Heroes of the Storm, you get rid of that part where it's like, okay, I'm going to be last hitting for the first 20 minutes of the game. And there is a whole nice dance around that. But half the time, especially at the lower level, the level that most of us play the game at, that's kind of where it makes or breaks. Someone gets ridiculously OP or like one mistake and then it's done. But you still have to keep playing it out. You have to keep playing it for 20 minutes at least, and possibly even 30, 40 minutes. Because one of the biggest things we always said is that the worse you are at it, the worse you are at closing the game out. That's what makes the difference between the good teams and the bad teams. You can be miles ahead and you can't close it out. You're probably going to win, and most of the time you do. We still win 95% of the time. You just take ages doing it because someone thinks they're amazing and they go running off and die a few times, and you just don't have a coherent strategy to do it. Whereas like the tasks that you get given in HOTS where, go do the doubloons, go do the curses, all the different maps have their different things. It keeps everyone on the kind of straight and narrow. It's like, no, now you've got to go do this. And everyone's like, oh yeah, get in there, go do that. And they do it, and it keeps it flowing and keeps the game going fast.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I also think like the problem with the HOTS one is that like the combat mechanics in it are just too
strong.
Yeah, they're too strong. It's like you can get like an early game ahead an early game, and you can just get killed in one team fight and lose. That kind of thing. It's too. There's no like emphasis on playing strong at the beginning and staying strong. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, the other thing as well, I find with Here's the Storm is that it's almost too team focused, and I actually like the part of LoL where you can get strong by yourself and carry. Whereas in Here's the Storm, it kind of doesn't matter what you do if your team is just feeding and doing terribly overall. Like, there's no way to kind of control the game, just yourself.
I mean, I never really like... Oh, go on, Martin, go on.
Just before I forget it, isn't it also the fact, though, that because there is a fine line, that if you do have that slight lead in Heroes of the Storm, that you need to make sure you keep it. Like I haven't watched a lot of pro HOTS, but I do imagine that if you have that lead, It's more like you know that you have to be really careful with it because you've got the lead and you are better, but you know they can catch up if you step out of line at one point.
That's pro level play versus amateur level play, and especially since like you're right, it is so team focused that it has this kind of like of your individual plays don't count as much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly. That's how I feel when I'm playing it. So it's fun for a little while, but.
See, what did you say, Martin?
I was just saying that's almost better because like everyone, it's us just being us complaining about everything really, not us, everyone. It's like you're going, oh, I'd really like League of Legends if there was better combat mechanics because sometimes I feel, and then they give it to you, you go, yeah, but these are too good. I mean, have you got something that, you know, I do understand what you're saying, but like I don't feel there's a point where we would ever be happy. We want to feel like we're playing the most epic game ever where like we have won it. But we also, when we're losing, want to go. I want to have a chance. It's not fair, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I still prefer League. Admittedly, chat's going on about Dota at the moment. I've never actually played Dota beyond.
Yes, we have. We played Dota. This is way too hard.
Yeah. Beyond loading it up and going, oh my god, I know nothing. I'm going to go back to League where I feel comfortable and everything is soft and squishy. But I didn't like the way that HOTS felt. I didn't like the way Heroes of the Storm felt. There was something about the way the heroes felt and the way they moved and the way the abilities were. Like, they were all good and they were all fine. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't like it, but I don't know what it was. There was just something about it that League to me felt so much better. The mechanics of it and everything just felt so much more natural to me. I mean, maybe it's just because I was playing that for 2 years.
Max. But there is something about it. I couldn't put my finger on it as well, but I had the same feeling. Like, I don't know, the animations or the way they move or around the map, they just feel, I don't know, more clunky.
Yeah, clunky, exactly. I don't know why, because it's responsive and it does what it's supposed to do, but there's something about it compared to League. It just feels a little bit clunky. It's weird. I mean, does any... Joe?
Martin, Dota is...
You talking about
engine used for Dota.
No, we're talking about Heroes. Heroes.
I agree. Dota as well does feel very clunky. That was my hardest thing. It felt really, really clunky compared to playing League because there was the turning circle, wasn't it, Joe? You can't just go, I'm going back, I'm going forward, I'm going back, I'm going forward. It would be like slow. It's
the turning, It's very slow in Dota. Plus the whole denying minions and.
I like the minions. That I really like. I wish that was in other games.
Yeah. I mean, Dota is definitely. I think Dota is definitely a harder game, and that's what puts me off. But just going back to Heroes, like what me and Al were saying is like the actual feel of the game is quite clunky compared to League as well. Or do you not feel like that?
I don't feel that. I never felt that Heroes felt massively clunky. Maybe slightly more so but nothing on the Dota level for me. I still felt it was fairly smooth, fairly solid. I knew what was going on. If I was going to sit down and play a HOTS now, then it would a MOBA now. It would be HOTS.
But that's just because it's 20 minutes.
Well, really, but it's that. But I
think I probably would play League if it was 20 minutes for.
But League isn't. And then if you suddenly go, well, if League was 20 minutes, it wouldn't be the same game. This is the point. The game is what it is. It is how long it takes. And if you suddenly made League 20 minutes, you're playing ARAM.
But it's just the reason why I stopped playing.
Oh, yeah, sure.
League is just due to the fact that it just takes way too long. And I don't want to spend 20 minutes building up to the 20 minutes of gameplay that I want to have when... In HOTS, you could just play 2 games.
In that same kind of time.
Pretty much straight away.
There's also something else that will put us all off League that we haven't talked about, which is the massive amount of crying children in it.
Oh yes, the babies, the rage factor. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I don't think League is any worse than any other game these days. I mean, I've been playing a load of Overwatch recently. I've been doing my hero guys and stuff, and I generally really enjoy that game. And hopefully you guys can get into it soon as well, and we can be playing some more of that, because I'd like to hear what you guys think. But
you put another guide out today, and I watched it, and I was like, I have never even seen this hero or champion or whatever they're called in it before. And it's like, I actually want to play Keep doing those because it gets me more and more hyped every week.
Yeah, well, I will keep doing those. And yeah, May is super cool. I really like her a lot. She is a lot of fun. But like this is a game that when I play League, like I never ever rage in chat ever. Like I know it's detrimental. It's never going to help anything. Like if you've maybe got something constructive to say, you might be able to get away with putting a point across to someone. But generally, say nothing because you're only going to make it worse. Even if you've got a really reasonable, constructive thing to say, they will take it the wrong way. So generally shut up. But while I was playing League, if anyone was on TeamSpeak with me, I would be swearing, I'd be effing and blinding, I'd be pissed off. I'd be like, talking shit about anybody else in the game and getting quite frustrated by it. But Overwatch doesn't have that yet. There are still salty people in Overwatch. I don't understand. Like, the games are 10 minutes long at most. I think the longest game I've ever had was 12 minutes of Overwatch. And so it's like, it doesn't matter how badly your game's going. It's not going to last 20 minutes, half an hour, an hour. You're not going to be stuck in that game for ages with these idiots that are ruining it for you. Just get over it. Just chill out. You can change hero whenever you want. Just pick a different hero and try something else out. But people still get salty even in a game like that, and they rage and they bitch and they moan about things.
But I can beat you on that. I play a lot of Rocket League, and they're 5-minute games, and they really are like the most arcadey kind of game. And they're still raging, and it's like, there's forfeit. Why is there a forfeit on a 5-minute game? Just play it out. We've got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. You can do it, mate. You can make it to the end.
Why do they even have a forfeit option?
That's what I mean. I don't even know that's there.
Oh my god!
One goal. Oh, we lost. Forfeit.
I've seen people 2-0 down, 3 minutes to go. We'll forfeit. Like, why? You go, we're awful. So are they. That's why we're all playing together.
It's like, oh my god! I didn't realise I couldn't commit all this time to play this one game of Rocket League. Something suddenly come up in the minute since I started playing, which I have to go now.
Well,
Must AFK.
I have had to feed babies, but oh, this is too hot. Oh,
well, there you go. You don't want the hair, mine.
With League of Legends, with having even with some persons, they after 10 minutes going AFK and deciding they don't want to play it anymore. The game's still going to last another 10 minutes at least, and then there's going to be people that have to all decide that they want to quit as well. It's one of those ones where I don't know, it just kind of it's too long to lose a game for 40 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't play Rocket League on PlayStation. I wonder how much better it would be playing Rocket League on PlayStation, because obviously when you play on PC, even though it's all mixed, you can actually play randomly against PlayStation people. The game was set up so that you have the whole use your pad to do some pre-made emotes like good save, great defending, nice shot, or I'm shooting, or that kind of stuff, which you can do on the pad, which you play on. But obviously, if you're still on a PC, you can still press T and then type whatever the hell you want. So you still get people going, oh, uninstall, easy, standard kind of PC VM. But you can't do that on a PlayStation. I wonder how much better it is, because it's kind of the whole old Hearthstone thing where, you give people a certain amount of emotes that you could kind of use as BM. There's a nice save one, which obviously is used offensively all the time by the other team. Nice save. Oh no, it wasn't. That kind of thing. But that's fine. You can have a little bit of a nice save. You're like, oh, this guy with his nice save, because you're not really offended when people really start typing stuff. That's when you really get offended by it. And I do feel that I wish that's half the problem of playing on PC. I think where you give people a keyboard, but
yeah, with PlayStation Network's got voice comms still, doesn't it?
Yeah, so is this, but I find this mainly just some people go something I can't even audibly hear. It's like no, that's whatever, mate.
All right, fair enough. Sorry, Joe. I kind of cut you off there. What were you going to say?
Very fine. No, I was just going to say the funny thing with those emotes is, especially in Hearthstone, I find that even if the other person might be using the emote in a nice way, I'll still take it negatively and assume that it's BM every time. So it's end of the game, it's good game. I was like, no, it's not a good game. Screw you, buddy.
I'm the same thing with Hearthstone. Like when they start emoting, I'm like, are they BMing me or are they genuinely being nice? It's like I can't tell. So I take your approach as well. It's like it's all BM.
Yeah. It depends what's just happened.
Because you are Alec BM Curry, the king of trolls, the king of BM.
Yeah, we're just lucky that you played Protoss in StarCraft too. Because if you'd played Terran, we'd all be really angry. You'd be that guy that at the end of the game, he's floating all of his buildings off all around the map, making it just so the game's as long as it possibly can be. Just
while I go and make myself a cup of tea.
Exactly.
We've all been that guy.
It's like, oh, this was my last game of the day.
I'll tell you what, no, but that's brilliant. That's when you have the offensive, GG against you. I had a guy, I'd obviously lost, and he GG's me in StarCraft before I've lost. It's like very rude to do. Let the other person say GG first, and you GG them back. It's like shaking a hand, isn't it? That's why I always see GG. You're shaking someone's hand in the digital world, and if you kind of like, if you're playing football and you were 2-0 up with 5 minutes to go at the end of the FA Cup, and you start going around, good game, mate. Good game. Everyone will be like, whoa, we've got 5 minutes left. He's like, yeah, but you've lost. Good game. You go like, whoa, that's incredibly offensive. I still feel like I could win.
I'll tell you what, if you did that in a Sunday league team, you'd get knocked out.
Yeah, exactly. And so he did that to me. So I was like, I went, normally I'll just quit, but for you, I'm floating my buildings. Since you've got no flying units, I'm floating my buildings to the corner of the stream. I'm going to go to the toilet. I'll come back, enjoy killing all my buildings.
But there is different perceptions of it. Like, I'm with you. Like, I see, like, at the end of a game, you're saying well played, you're saying GG, like, all those things, they just mean, like, good game, nice, good, courteous thing to do at the end of saying I enjoyed myself. It doesn't matter that we lost, or, it doesn't matter that, it doesn't matter that I won, or, all that kind of stuff. Just a sportsmanship thing to do at the end of the game. But
you know how the whole thing we always say about keeping calm when we talk about Hearthstone? I used to always say good game at the end of Hearthstone, not when I was going to win, but when they lost, I would always click it and say good game, because it's my way of keeping calm. It's similar, like when I lost at a game of StarCraft or whatever, I'd always type GG at the end. These are solo games, and team games I generally don't, because there's so many people, like half of them are going to be dicks. But one-on-one, I would say, if you've got... Like when you're in this team mentality, people are idiots. But when you're one-on-one, you go, good game, mate. And then normally just go, good game.
Yeah, see, the thing is,
it's quite nice. And but it helps you keep calm about the fact that you lost.
No. If I lose, I'll always do it straight away. Chat's kind of piping up about this right now. It's like, if I win by a mile, I will never GG. It's like you said, Martin. It's like to do GG first is the offensive GG. That's not the thing to be done. If you've won the game, you wait until the other person has said it first. But it's just always do it. But especially you do notice it more in team games, like you said. It's like if you're on that losing side and you've got absolutely smashed and you go into the chat and say GG, half your team will turn around and go, what do you mean good game? We were awful. We were shit. Like, bad game. BG. It's
bad game is the worst one. Bad game. I know it was a bad game. I'm telling the other game, good game, mate. Well played. Yeah. No, had a nice game. Good.
What about the offensive BG?
The one where you're winning. BG when you're winning.
What's the most offensive thing that you can do? Like, what's the most offensive thing you can type?
Easy.
Easy.
Yeah, easy. Every time. When I'm playing Rocket League, when I'm 3-0 up and someone on my team types easy, it is so hard for me to not try to go. It's like when you're playing Shirts vs Skins and I'm Shirts and it's like, anyway, this guy just went easy, rip it off. I'm Skins, 4 vs 2, fuck you guys. We're going for it. I'm helping them. I hate it. I hate easy.
I really don't find it offensive. Someone says easy, I'm like, whatever. Because I know that they're just trying to do it just to wind me up. It doesn't wind me up.
That's the opponent, but when someone on my team...
It makes me laugh. Yeah, no, even when someone on my team and they go easy, I was like, you're just a dick. It's just one of those things where you just go like, I don't know, it doesn't bother me. Easy's never bothered me. It's like...
If you ever look at Al's keyboard, it's kind of E and Z are the two letters that are great, like sort of plain, because he's pressed them so much, so I wouldn't listen to the things that he says.
No. Al's a classy guy. Don't drop him down to that level. He spells the whole thing out. It's the EASY.
Spelling is important.
Yes,
all right,
it is important.
And what really annoys me is in Hearthstone now I've taken just auto muting everybody as soon as I get into a match. But there's sometimes you just forget and you don't realize, and then you get BM'd and you're just like, oh my god, I let one through. It's like, no, you got me anyway.
It does.
And then I'm like extra pissed.
Mm.
I always turn off all TeamSpeak or all chat or whatever it is on League of Legends. That's how you lose your mind. No all chat.
I don't know.
They're talking smack. Whatever, can't see it.
Yeah, but we talked about this a long time ago, didn't we? It's like if you mute all chat, it is so much better. You get so much less wound up. You hear so much of these you're not involved in this argument of people trying to blame each other.
There's some argument going on,
doing
and you're aware
like
of it because you see bits of
your
it in your
side
chat.
of it. Yeah.
But you're like, I wonder what they're arguing about. Oh, I think it's me. Nah, couldn't be me. I'm fucking awesome.
When you're 0-7, they can't possibly be talking about me. No, I'm doing really well.
There's also that thing which is very true, that if somebody's doing badly and you start saying something in chat about them, then they're actually just going to perform worse because you've basically just put them on tilt. They already know they did something wrong.
Yeah.
User in your channel time.
Unless you... Oh, we may have just lost Al again.
Yes, Al gone.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll carry on while we wait for him to come back. But, yeah, I mean... It is that it's so counterproductive. It's like that person knows they've just done something stupid. They don't need you to tell them they've done something stupid. Like they don't even need you to say what they probably should have done there. Like especially in a game like League of Legends or Dota or Heroes of the Storm. Like it's a game where the same situation rarely happens that often. Like the exact same situation. It's one of those games that's quite hard to learn because like the things that will kill you, like there'll be similar things. It'll be similar things that happen, but like not exact same situations will happen over and over again. So it's a game where it can be quite difficult to learn.
It's not just that. It's because the team, you're never going to have the same team against you composition wise.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the kind of point that I'm getting at. And like, since you're never going to have like the same compositions and everything's always going to be different, like there's almost no point in turning around to someone and telling them exactly where they went wrong and what they did, because all you're going to do is annoy them, and it serves no purpose. That exact situation isn't going to happen again. Like you just need to let it go. Let it go. Take a letter out of Elsa's book. All right, she learned how to deal with it. They can learn how to deal with it too.
It is kind of funny though. Like I tend to be fairly calm in games, like even competitive ones, but for some reason LOL just brings it out. I don't understand what it is, and I know the logic, and I always tell myself that, don't get angry at other people, it's just going to make them worse, they already know what's happening, or they already know what they did wrong, but for some reason, that game just makes it so easy to project your anger onto other people.
I don't know what it is either, because I'm very good at keeping calm. In games in general. No, okay. When I'm there and there's people there, I do like to get excited because I like getting excited. But I'm quite good at not getting angry at like the game and at the situation. Mm-hmm. But League of Legends, the longer I played it, there were times I was there and I'd be playing with some of the other guys, and I would be getting so angry. There's people winding me up, and they'd be going, "Don't listen to them." I go, "No, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. I'm going to lose this game because that guy's a dick." I hate the fact that it's more that I just hate people being dicks. Why? Why are you doing it? Just play the goddamn game. Can't I mute all of you? I don't need to hear any of you. Yeah, just play the damn game and stop whinging. Yeah, it's more the fact that I'm the same opinion that yes, like I said earlier, you go, when people are complaining, they go, "Oh, you're so bad," like in League of Legends. And go, yes, I am. I'm in Bronze League, and so are you. We are all extremely bad at this game. Stop making out like you're good at it. That's the bit that annoys me. You're not good at it. You've got lucky this game. Last game, I looked like a god because I got lucky, and some other poor schmuck didn't. But this time, I look like the fucking schmuck. So So you're having a go at me. You go, I didn't have a go at that other guy. That's just how it is. We're all bad at this game. We're all sitting here at 25 minutes with 34 CS. We're bad. Let's just play the game and let's just get on with it and have fun. That's why it annoys me. It's like people thinking that they're really good and go, look, I understand. I fully understand. I'm no good at it. But neither are you. So
but they're just stuck in Elo hell. You're bringing them down.
Yeah,
everybody.
You're stopping them from getting out of where they are. That's it. The other team always gets the good players, and they always get the bad players, and that's what happens.
But this is why I prefer 1v1 games. That's why I like playing a bit of StarCraft, playing a bit of Hearthstone, because then I'm actually good at them, and I sit there going, "No, it wasn't me. Yes."
Yeah, well, as Chat pointed out, it's the Dunning-Kruger effect, which is the whole thing of like people that are unskilled at something are so unskilled at it that they are unable to realize just how bad they are at it. Yeah. Like you're better than them. In fact, take that home. Like you're better than them because you're bad.
User was moved to your channel.
I was watching out for him. Here he is. He's back. He's back. Get back in here now. Everybody get in here.
Been there for ages trying to like message you guys to put me back in.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, but you know what? We were like, this guy, he feeds. He's not good. He doesn't do anything in team fight. He flashes the wrong way. We're like,
he's the reason we're in Elo hell.
Yeah, he's the reason we're in Elo hell or podcast.
He also has his flash bound to the wrong key. He doesn't have it on F. Just saying.
You have it on the other one. Is it D? I can't even remember.
Yeah, F and D are the default summoners.
You have it on the wrong one. Everyone who has flash bound to D, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, doing it wrong.
Left-handed.
Well, no, I'm left-handed. I have the opposite side of the keyboard.
Yeah, Max has it bound to semicolon.
You
Quick, Max, semicolon.
Holy shit, that's actually... No, I have it bound to L. My other summoner's on semicolon. I had to look at my keyboard.
He's closer than you. L is the second letter in Flash. We have F, he has L, you've got D. It's not even in there.
Yeah, Al, you're just wrong. You are very, very wrong. I was trying to bring the conversation up to a slightly higher brow level by talking about the Dunning-Kruger effect, but I believe we've kind of just stepped over that. It's fine. We don't need to come off like we're intelligent British people, and Joe's Irish, but you know. He was born in England, so I'm sure you don't take too much offence.
It's a difficult one to define. I don't know how Joe defines himself.
I also have a British passport. I guess that's the definition.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
For now.
British for now. Alrighty. Well, that was a lot of conversation we got out of Al playing ARAM. What did you say, Martin?
Someone was just saying ulti on D.
What?
It's Kieran.
Ulti on D?
Kieran?
No, Kieran's not in chat.
No.
Wait, anyway. Who? What are you? All right, fair enough. Moving on. So yeah, as I was saying, that was a lot of conversation we managed to get out of Al playing a few ARAMs.
It's quite a divisive subject, isn't it?
You could go on forever.
We make these show notes, like we write out in it like pages of stuff, and then it's like we get like through the first 5 lines, and it's like, wow, that was 2 hours. Probably the rest for next week then, I guess.
Yeah, probably. All right. Well, dare I ask, Al, what else have you been playing this week?
Ask him again. We haven't got enough time.
This is what happened last week as well.
Coming up in part 2. What else Al's been playing?
This isn't the What Has Al Been Playing This Week podcast. We don't even know who he is. Who is this guy?
Look,
He's
I know
unstable portal material.
I know he's better than us. That's the problem. That's what cuts me to the core. Is he's been here 5 minutes and he's already come up with more material than it takes me a week to come up with. I don't know.
What else have you been playing, Al?
No, like I said, XCOM 2.
Yeah, XCOM 2. That was the right answer. You were going to say that first time, and we just got sidetracked when you randomly broadsided us with ARAM.
Oh no, this isn't working again.
Oh yeah, I've been playing quite a lot of XCOM 2. I'm about, I don't know, halfway, 3/4 of the way through the campaign. I played a lot of, I didn't play a lot of XCOM. I played XCOM 1 a couple of times through, and the Enemy Within I played, like the DLC. I played that through, like, once. So, I'm pretty noobish still at the game, especially since I've seen, like, other YouTubers who, like, I'm like, oh, fucking hell, they've played this a lot. But yeah, I like it. I never played the originals, but
you as well.
Game.
God damn it! Oh, do you mean like the originals back in like the 90s, or do you mean like the
90s originals?
Okay,
no, I don't.
You played the 90s originals?
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Oh, okay.
No, I was going to say because Joe was talking a little about XCOM last week, and what me and Martin were interested in was how it differed. And Joe's like, I didn't play the other one, and we were like, oh god, I can't answer that question. So how does it differ like from the first one?
There's a lot more upgrading of stuff. I don't know. You have like the missions are pretty much the same. Like the whole style, the whole feel of them is pretty much the same. The big differences are in the upgrading of your characters and the upgrading of your base. Whereas before you had like a huge base, and they've changed it so that the base seems kind of like an add-on to the game, as opposed to in the original XCOM 1, it felt like part of the game.
But that's
it
probably
feels like
meant
something
to be...
they've tacked on.
But is that because of how it feels? Because because it feels like it's tacked on. Is that because thematically, like now, like not to give not only what I know is the most basic thing is like obviously XCOM 2, you are meant to have lost XCOM 1, or the humans or Earth has lost XCOM 1.
Yeah. XCOM loses in the first game. That's the law.
So when you play XCOM 2, like you aren't this guy with all the might of every big country in the world giving you stuff. You're meant to be like the rogue kind of like guerrilla fighters. So you wouldn't have like the most amazing.
At the beginning of XCOM 1, you're not supposed to be this mighty, all-powerful organization. You're supposed to be small, and you're building it up. The same thing here. You start off as a small guerrilla resistance movement, and you build it up. So thematically, it could have been different. But it just feels like before it was like a huge base, and there was so many rooms to move. And now it's like 9 rooms, and it just feels like something that's tacked on that you just have to progress through just to build up. And I'm a bit disappointed. The simplicity of it, I think it's better. It's more simplistic, and I think that's better because the game itself is quite complex as a whole. But I think if you played it more, you would miss the whole base building kind of thing.
I'm just playing my first playthrough on XCOM 1, and I do find that, I mean, what I really want to do is get out and do missions. I understand, I do like the whole kind of macro area of like building a base, and it's like build these next to each other, etc., get bonuses, everything like that. But at the same time, it's like one of those things where it's like, I just want to get out and do the missions. Like, I understand I have to do this for the story, and it's good for the game. But I just want to go do the missions because that's the most fun bit. That's the bit I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure once I got better at it, and then once I understood it a little bit better, I'd miss the other side of it if it wasn't there. But, like, it does sometimes annoy me. How do you find, isn't there a bit in it, like, I don't know if I just haven't got this far in the original game, but you can train the people to be, your team members to be a certain class, so they can be a sniper, or they can be a grenadier, or they can be a medic, or whatever they're called in the game.
I don't remember that from XCOM 1, no, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't there.
It is in XCOM 2. So
do you think that's quite good? That seems
I prefer that because it's one of those things like, especially if you're doing, hardcore playthrough modes and you've like lost, so like I only have one sniper now, and it's like, well, I really need a sniper. All right, so I have to take a recruit on mission, and I have to hope that they turn into a sniper.
Sniper, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think it's a lot better that way.
It's got some good quality of life improvements kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's also a lot more like options for like you buy like the upgrades for the teams. There's a lot more of them. There's a lot more the armor options and like the outfitting of your group options. Before it was kind of like
the customization. I've seen some like streams and videos. The actual customization of like how your guys look is hugely different. I've watched some videos of that.
Oh yeah.
How they can do that, and like I'm not big into customizing them, but it's like kind of fun, like to at least do a little bit, and at least give them I like to give them different colors of armor so I can kind of tell who's who, Like, you know, the red guy, the blue guy's the sniper, and the red guy's the grenadier type guy, and you know, that kind of thing.
I've got the same thing. I've like all my snipers are purple, or like all of them apart from Max, who's pink. Always got to make Max pink, but now after seeing Martin in that wig, I might have to make him the pink one.
Thanks. I'm glad I'm pink.
But Max is the only person left that I know who's alive and think Al died a glorious death.
What did Al die doing? Did he make it out of being a rookie?
Did I try and grenade someone on my own team?
He was like, what's the guys in XCOM 1 who are meant to be the ones up in the action? They can't, like, they don't have them like in XCOM 2
class.
Yeah, the assault class ones. Yeah. He went in there. He got stuck in. Got shot in the face.
So one of the biggest changes in it though is armor. So you don't have this in XCOM 1, but like as you get along and you get more mechanized enemies, and a lot of them have armor. And now every time you take a shot at someone with say like 2 armor, whatever damage you would do to them is reduced by 2. So if your shot would do 7, it only does 5 health to them.
Oh, okay, Joe, were you explaining this to us last week?
But you can remove armor. You can remove armor with like certain abilities on classes and by throwing explosives. And the whole thing that explosives play like a much bigger role, I think, in this game than they did before. And it adds a lot of depth to it. Just like one change is like it's huge. You no longer just like, you know, get the biggest weapons you can. You need to kind of like, if there's a cluster of armored enemies and you can like grenade them or something, then it's really worth it. You won't do as much damage, but the rest of your team will, and taking them down. I think it's a huge change, just a small little thing.
I think we mentioned it last week that pretty much XCOM 2 has been pretty much described as XCOM 1 but better in every single way. And that's not to downgrade. The whole point is that's not downgrading XCOM 1. They're like, yeah, XCOM 1 was really good, and XCOM 2 is that, but better in every single way. So you can't get much higher praise.
Yeah. The one thing I would say about the other big difference is that a lot more timed missions, like time-sensitive missions.
Yes.
So in XCOM 1, you had a lot of stuff where you could take your time. You could like spend ages slowly moving each squad member, you know, like, and then put them all on Overwatch whenever you moved. Like 75%, 80% of the missions in XCOM 2, you can't do that. You have to kind of like, you know, some of them are really, really tight missions. You have to really go for it.
Yeah, I've seen that you've got like 8 turns, and you have to get moving. Like you don't have to rush it, obviously, but you can't just like sit around waiting.
Yeah, and that makes it huge because you can't just like, you know, move them half a move and then like put them in Overwatch and then move everyone half a move. Some of them you have to rush in, some of them you have to like really not play the most optimally as you would in XCOM 1, I would say. And it makes it a lot more tense.
Yeah, well, that sounds much better to me. It sounds like it makes the game harder for sure, but it sounds like it makes it a lot more interesting because that kind of methodical way of like moving up like one squad member at a time, Overwatch after Overwatch after Overwatch. It was almost like this thing that you had to do, and like the fun kind of got sucked out of the game after a while by doing that. Until you kind of got to an actual situation where you triggered some aliens and you had to fight them, that you actually have to do any thinking, but it kind of extended the amount of time because you were always so worried about like triggering multiple pods at once and, you know, having a really hard fight on your hands.
I think you always have to have like really for like turn-based games like that, or not any turn-based games, but even when I think about games like Blood Bowl, which is like obviously completely different, but it's a turn-based game where you've got an objective, but the point is you have a set time because the game is going to end. You have a certain amount of turns to do something. You have to do something. Because when you have something where it's turn-based, if you don't have any kind of incentive to move, you just do the safest, slowest things because you don't lose anything by not doing it. Why take risks when you don't have to? You have to put a time limit on to cause people to have a reason to take risks.
No, definitely. Have you heard anything about a game called Atlas Reactor?
No.
Any of you? It's a turn-based.
Oh, I mean,
Let me finish, because I'm not sure. It looks like it's like a turn-based. People are calling it like a turn-based MOBA, but from what I've seen of it, I've not really seen any MOBA aspects to it. I've not seen any creeps.
How could you possibly I mean, obviously, I'm not guessing it's not multiplayer. Can you imagine 10 people like having a turn-based, like, oh my god, waiting for this guy on the fucking Game Boy to fucking do his turn. Shoot them off. I know you're gonna shoot them off.
It's so long.
But it sounds quite interesting. Like, so I haven't seen any creeps or anything like that. I'm just going to type the thing in. I haven't seen any creeps in it, but it's being described as a turn-based MOBA. So I was watching a little video earlier today. I'm going to look a little bit more into it when I've got a bit more time. Because I think it's in open beta or open alpha. I think from what I saw, like anyone might be able to sign up for it and be able to jump on and have a look. And what it is you've got 2 teams of 4, and every single person is an individual player. So you're playing a turn-based game with 4 people on your side, or 3 other people on your side, and 4 people on the other side. And you all have, at the end of each turn, you all have 20 seconds to lock your moves in, and then they all play out at the same time. So it's kind of...
Yeah, okay, I get what you mean. It's kind of like... I can't remember the name of the game.
Can you see them locking their... Like, obviously you can't see the enemy team. Well, actually you might be. Can you see, like, your team locking their moves? Can you see what they're going to do? And, like, when they lock them in and stuff? Do you know that?
I'd expect you could see your own team's moves. That would make a lot of sense. You know what it sounds like? It sounds a lot like Frozen Synapse.
Oh, that was an awesome game.
Yes.
I know. I
yes,
love Frozen
sounds like
Synapse.
Frozen Synapse.
That was brilliant.
Which is like Frozen Synapse is like a top-down shooter, but what you do is you plan your moves, and your opponents also plan their moves, and your units will react and shoot at people, etc., depending on the weapons they have and how they are in line of sight and that kind of thing. But you plan your moves, and you can also plan your opponent's moves, like by guessing what you think they will do with the units you can see from them. So you can like run out scenarios. You can plan your moves out, press play out the scenario, and go, oh crap! If I do that, my guy's gonna die. That doesn't sound very good. Okay, we'll have to change this. It's very good. It's I don't know. It's kind of like chess for playing shooting games, because you could literally play it as a postal chess game. Like you play chess, you know, you do a move, you send a move, you go off, and your mate will send a move back later that day, and you send one tomorrow, and you can do it day by day. Like a game, I think, I can't remember now, probably takes about 10 moves, probably average, maybe a bit less. But it's really good. It's a really good game. That tactical game.
Yeah, Frozen Synapse was good, and I guess this takes some ideas from that, about the fact that everything kind of plays out at the same time. It looked very interesting. I just wondered if you guys had heard of it. It's something I'm going to check out a little bit more into. It's just quite a new concept. It's turn based, but everything plays out at the same time, and there is 8 people in the game all deciding on their moves at the same time. So yeah, it could be quite cool. It could be worth a look. Right, Al, is there any other games you'd like to talk about before I move on to Martin? I know what Joe's dying to talk about, but I am purposefully leaving him for a little bit, because I think they might end up being quite a long conversation.
No, that's pretty much all I've been doing this week.
Martin, what have you been up to? What you been doing?
Played all the normal games I normally play. Played a little bit of Hearthstone, played a little bit of Rocket League, played a little bit of Ori and the Blind Forest. But the new game that I found this week, that we found yesterday, Max, so I haven't got a huge amount to talk about it, but it is really, really enjoyable at this moment, is Marvel Heroes 2016, I believe it's called.
Yeah, that's right.
I do remember playing this 2 to 3 years ago, a long time ago, when it's fairly new. This was one of the games that came straight out of the Max hype train, Max beta hype train. Yeah, there's a Marvel game, it's really good, we're going to go shoot things, it's going to be awesome. We all loaded and played it, we go, this is pretty fucking poor. Classic Max, why do you do this to us? Why do we keep listening to him? He keeps doing this to us. Why do we keep listening? I only blame myself.
I like superheroes.
But
I blame you, Martin.
But there's been a lot of talk. I have seen a lot of stuff saying how they've addressed a lot of the issues, same as like Diablo we were talking last week. They addressed a lot of the issues they had when they first brought the game out, they've listened to the community, listened to people as any good game developer would do, and they've actually changed it. And so I was looking for a Diablo type game, and Max goes, well, this one's free. And I was like, you're on, this is the one we're going for. So we both loaded it up, and it actually is a lot of fun. They've changed a lot of things. I've looked up at how it used to be and what they changed. So, for example, now you've got 50 different heroes you can play. Lots of different ones, all the main Marvel heroes that you'd want to be. And plenty of sort of side-ish ones. You know, you've got the main ones like Hulk and Iron Man, and like now Deadpool. After obviously his massive movie, they've gave him a big reworking for this to make him optimal kind of character to play.
I got Rocket Raccoon. He is pretty awesome.
But yeah, you've got like you've got guys from Guardians of the Galaxy like Rocket Raccoon. You've got people like Cyclops, random X-Men, stuff like that. There's 50 different ones that you can choose from. But when you go, how it works is that you level each one up individually. You can change to any of them at any time, but they will be at the level that you've got them at. But you can play any character up to level 10. Because basically, because it's free to play, you get one character free. You get one hero free. And that's the one you get to play. So when you can play anyone up to level 10. Once you go past level 10 with anyone, that's your character locked out. You are now him. And you have to pay this in-game currency you can use. Like you pick up shards, which apparently drop at a fairly good rate to actually like get new ones, new characters for free with them. Or you can pay real monies as the option would be. And but I do like, but apparently they didn't used to have that. You used to have to just go, I choose this character, and then you play him and go, he is bear crap. Yeah, he is bear crap. He is bear crapping all over my lawn. and but now you can play anyone up to level 10. You get a good idea. Like me and Max yesterday when we first opened the game, we was like, oh my god, we should probably play this game because you just keep on trying different characters and seeing what they do. And like, you know, they've got big massive effects, and very like it makes you feel powerful. A lot of the complaints like the first time, it's like you didn't feel like a hero. They made you feel weak from the beginning, and then you build up your strength, kind of like you do in a lot of kind of MMO type games where, you know, you're obviously weak, you're just this guy, but it's like, no, I am still Iron Man at the beginning, I should still be strong. So I think they've made it more that the opponents you face, it's better zoned for the levels, so the opponents you face are weaker, so you still feel amazingly awesome. You're not. If you face someone a few levels higher, he'll crush you. But you're just facing the right level of opponents, and you can crush them, not easily, but, you know, with a reasonable...
easily. Yeah,
and we haven't gone far enough to, like, see... It's always easy for the first 5-6 levels. It's never going to be. But it's really good fun. Like, there's a lot of stuff to do with that. Which level hero you level up gives you, like, an overall... If you've got a max level of someone, I think it gives you, like, an overall bonus on all your other ones. And there's a lot of really cool stuff with it. I would certainly recommend picking it up and giving it a go. If you're interested in Marvel at all, then it's a really good, just anyway, sort of wander around Diablo kind of like ARPG kind of game. And you could have a bit of fun with it anyway. Just my favourite bit was the fact that I loaded in. I just had to be Deadpool the second time through. We did it. I did Captain America to start with, and then when I got a choice, I was like, I'm going with Deadpool. And the voice acting, the first thing he says is, I'm both massive and multiplayer. And I'm like, oh my god, you've got me here already.
Deadpool lines are amazing in the game.
Deadpool lines are pretty awesome. Joe, you actually played quite a lot of this at one point, didn't you?
Oh god, I played it a monstrous amount.
Oh, did you really?
Many max level characters in that game.
Oh my god, I didn't even realise that.
Hundreds and hundreds of hours since launch. Yeah.
When did you stop playing
When did you stop? Did you stop the moment it started getting good? You're like, only noobs can play now.
I've gone back to it a few times and then played it a bit more, but...
Because
when was the last time you like kind of played it a reasonable amount?
It was probably like maybe 3 or 4 months ago.
Did you feel then, like, since what launch was probably about 2-3 years ago? Like, did you feel like the improvements that they had made through the time?
they added way more gearing options and way more grind and things to level up and unlock, and then raids and stuff, which is a good thing. But I mean, the game fundamentally feels the same as it did on launch. Do you know what I mean? Like mechanics-wise and character-wise and stuff. So it was a good game. I enjoyed it since launch. There's just more to do now, really. That's all.
It's also a very big bit that I think is something that a lot of MMOs should learn from, where you have a whole story mode when you're doing a normal level up. You can do your level up, you do the whole story mode. As they all want to have a story. That's fine. That's obviously what you should be there for. But when you've done it once, people don't like to do it again. You don't want to have to do another story mode. We've done this. I've done the same. I've been through Westfall. Yes, I've killed Diablo or whoever. You know, I've done this before. So they've got now a legendary quest line that you can do, which is essentially the fastest way to level up. You still have to do it, but it's faster. You're kind of skipping out the story and just doing the most efficient way to level up. And they brought this in for when you're going to be doing, you know, your second, your third, your fourth, your fifth character, your hero, whatever, how you want to call it.
That was something that was super annoying, actually, when I was leveling up alts. Like, you could kind of skip the story, but you had to pick up certain quests at certain levels to make sure you got skill points.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they fixed that problem, because that was really... Because you had to check a website or spreadsheet and make sure you got the right quests each time and which levels they were at and where to go.
This is what this is. It's like you basically do the legendary quest chain and you just do this. This is your fast. It's not fast. It's not, you're not going to do it in an hour, but it's like faster than...
it's an alternative leveling experience, like a completely alternative leveling experience, from what I understand, right?
But you can do adventure mode in Diablo. I guess.
Exactly. Just like the new.
But this is what I like. Is like they've listened to what people have said and advised, and they've gone, yeah, you know what, you probably have a point there, and they've actually changed it, and they've done it in a better, more efficient way, a way that people actually want to play the game, and I think that's. They should be commended for that, because it seems like a lot better game now.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I've been quite enjoying it. Like, my character does feel ludicrously OP, which is probably what you want for a superhero. Like, I just seem to explode everything at the moment. I mean, one thing I wanted to ask Joe is, I heard, I'm not sure if I imagined this or not, I remember back when Rocket Raccoon was released into the game, there was a lot of complaints about him because he was ludicrously overpowered and he was ludicrously strong, and everyone was just like, oh, you've just made him super strong so that everyone spends money to buy him. I mean, did that problem kind of exist, or do you not really think so?
Not that I can remember. As far as I remember, he was terrible.
Oh, really? So maybe he's been buffed up then. Okay.
I mean, Deadpool got a complete rework this year.
Deadpool was pretty bad as well.
Yeah, Deadpool was meant to be really bad, because Deadpool was a nobody until they brought the film out. Basically, because this is 2016, they bring out a new one each year. They obviously knew Deadpool was coming out, and they basically completely reworked the character, did everything new, and made him really, really good, essentially. Because, why wouldn't you? This is a business. I understand what they're doing.
Well, they're doing reworks for every character anyway. They've been doing it kind of each character every month or two, but they're just prioritizing the ones when there's movies about them. Do you mean, so like Iron Man got a rework when there was whatever Iron Man 2 or 3 came out?
I did see someone walking around with the I don't know Iron Man super well, but whatever mark the Iron Man is, where he's like the Hulkbuster guy. In fact, is that what he's called, the Hulkbuster?
Hulkbuster, yeah.
Yeah, I saw somebody walking around with that, and he looked pretty cool. And yeah, I think it's definitely, if you enjoy comic book stuff in any way at all, it could be worth checking out. Like, it's free. It's free to play. Like, just install it and give it a go. It's a good blast. I do feel like, I mean, I tried a few, and I kind of felt like the newer ones, or the ones that have been reworked, they felt a bit better as heroes than the older ones, because I kind of went into it, and so like Spider-Man felt a bit clunky. So like I tried Spider-Man at one point, and he felt really clunky, and I was like, oh, I don't actually want to play this guy. And who else did I try? Also Daredevil. Daredevil didn't feel that good either. And Daredevil was one of the 4 heroes when the game first launched that you were able to play. Like, that's what you were limited to. If you were free to play, when you first started playing the game, you only had 4 heroes to pick from. I can't remember exactly what they were, but one of them was definitely Daredevil.
I thought Daredevil got reworked.
Maybe he did.
I'm not sure if he had a full rework yet. He's had, like, major changes done to him a couple of times.
We also had some interesting bugs because me and Martin were playing together, going into our own instances. We had a few things where quest things were triggering for me and not for him. Like at one point, I got a full cutscene that he didn't get, where some guy called the Hood was creating mischief and stole something from us, and then I was like, "Oh, Martin," he's like, "Did you see that cutscene?" He's like, "No, I've just been killing guys for the last 5 minutes, wondering where you are." And I was like, "Oh," like it's like just completely kind of bugged out, not really sure what happened.
And it bugged out as well, like with the whole, we never got Green Goblin. We went back in for like our 3rd run through with a weird character, and we never got the Green Goblin come up at the end because
we couldn't finish it.
Seemed to kind of bug out, and we tried it with someone else, and we couldn't get him in there. And it's like, oh my god, am I never going to be able to get this again when I start leveling a character?
Yeah, so it feels like there is some strange bugs in there. But
that must be something new because I've run a lot of characters in multiplayer through.
Oh, in multiplayer. Okay, because that's what I wanted to say. Like, I
never had a problem with that.
Thought it might be one of those things that happens in multiplayer. But all right, fair enough. We'll keep playing it. We'll see what happens. I definitely want to play some more of it. It's quite good fun.
We're going to get Al involved as well. Al's going to come in.
It sounded interesting. I'm not a massive comic book like fan, but
really,
you
seem like you should be.
Oh, what really?
What? No, you actually do. I don't mean you just like.
Yeah, usually I can tell when you're trolling me, but it didn't sound like you were.
Yeah, I actually honestly thought sit there I thought you'd quite like comic book.
No, I never was into comic books.
I never read comic books, but I'm talking about the TV version of comic books and stuff.
No, I never really watched like X-Men cartoons or
oh really?
Like that.
X-Men was so cool.
I knew of them. I watched them occasionally, but I don't know. It just kind of like passed me by. But yeah, I like the idea of it. It's a kind of cool theme.
Were you big on My Little Pony?
Oh yeah.
This is the bit where I'm trolling you. Did you notice?
Yeah, I noticed that. What you don't know is that I secretly am a massive My Little Pony.
Yeah, I know. Every time you come round...
Martin, hold on a second. Lean back from your microphone. You're piercing my ears here.
Lean back.
Well, you spent the whole time leant back, so it's like now all of a sudden you're just really loud because you're on top of your mic.
Well, so... yeah, every time Al comes round, he's always there, with Millie sitting upstairs, secretly getting a little bit of My Little Pony action going on. He loves it. Anyway, go on. Games and stuff.
Games and stuff. Yes, apparently games and stuff. I played some Marvel Heroes, played a lot of Overwatch. Still loving the Overwatch. Can't get enough of Overwatch.
I might do if someone would let me play it. Blizzard, every time they say this new wave of characters, it must be me this time. I have been waiting for ages. I signed up for this before, Max. Surely I'm going to get it.
Why did you sign up for it before me?
Yeah, but there's somebody else, and they're like, I bought everything and played even more than Martin. Why haven't I got it?
Yeah. To be fair,
and then there's somebody in front of him who's like...
I'm happier that Max has it over me. If I had to choose one of us to have it, it should be Max, not me, because I will only dabble with it while he will really enjoy it. But yes.
But when I played World of Warcraft, I always signed up for the betas for the new expansions. Never ever got into it. It's like when I stopped playing World of Warcraft, I looked at my account and they had, welcome to the World of Warcraft beta for the new expansion. I was like, you mother.
Typical.
Yeah, no one ever knew that Blizzard was the biggest trolls in the world.
Yeah, if it makes you hate me even more, I do currently have Legion access as well. But
I don't care about World of Warcraft.
But yeah, I've logged into it about 4 times and every time I've gone, I was like, I'll try out a Demon Hunter. I don't know. WoW's just not like it used to be. That's the problem. WoW's just not like it used to be.
Save it for the bit that we're going to do that we're going to run out of time for.
But yeah, of course, we'll probably run out of time for that again. It's fine. So, Joe, I wonder what you've been playing this week. What have you been playing before the last 2 days? Why don't we start there?
All right. Before the last 2 days, I had a mad rush in Diablo Season 5 to finish my achievements and conquest stuff.
How do seasons work in Diablo? I hear a lot of people talk about seasons. I never understood that. I was like, it's a kind of a game where you get stuff and you grind stuff. How do you have another season? I don't understand.
Essentially, a season, you choose to create a character, and you choose it as a seasonal character, and you don't have access to any of your items or characters.
Do you start from the beginning?
That are in non-season. So you just start from the beginning. You've got nothing... No money, no bank, no items. And generally, although it wasn't quite the same this time, generally the new items are season exclusive. So every time there's a new season, they'll have like new set items, new legendaries that enable like multiple different builds for the characters. So every time it's like when you build your character, it'll be kind of play completely differently. I think this time most of the items were available in normal as well. So this time season was more for the
how long
bank
is
space.
A season roughly? 3 months?
Like 4 months or...
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, however long it takes them to get the content ready for the next one.
Yeah, it's more ballpark. Is it like one? Yeah. Is it like 1 month, like in?
No, it's a good few months.
Yeah.
So I just managed to finish that off, which is like doing rifts of a certain level, doing rifts of a certain level without any set items, and killing bosses at a certain difficulty level. Like there's a whole, I don't know, there was like 50 different achievements to do. And after all that, I got 1 extra bank space. So
Tab or
that's
space?
what I played.
Get on Twitter with #worth.
After this season, once you've like got all the gear or everything on this character, then it just gets deleted and you start a new season?
No, it gets transferred to normal.
All right.
So it becomes a character.
So you can still play it if you want. Like, and a lot of people will play a season and then maybe not play the next season, and they'll just continue with their character in the normal.
Is there some kind of ladder with it?
There is ladders for the rifts.
I mean, how? It's like, how do you scale your progression? How do you go, I'm doing well? It's like, you're not in like Bronze League or Silver League. How are you scaling your I did well this season?
The ladders are all done for Greater Rifts, which is a map that you go into, and you choose what level you do it at, and then you have to clear monsters and kill a boss at the end within a certain amount of time. And then let's say you clear like 60, and it'll unlock 61 and 62, and then you go into 62 and then you clear that. And if you don't complete it in the amount of time, you obviously fail and you don't get to the next rift level. So there's rankings on basically the different classes and the highest rift levels they've reached for a single, like for 1 character, 2 character, 3 character, 4 character parties.
Zeus is saying in chat that first step through the portal, defining gaming moment for me. Does that mean going into your first rift? Is that what it would be? First
Probably
step through the portal.
WoW.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think he's talking about WoW.
Probably talking about.
He was talking about when he misses TVC.
Oh, he misses Burning Crusade. Okay, yeah. Okay,
Different
fair
portal.
enough. Different portal. That's a dark portal, not a rift
Actually,
portal.
I tell you what, like playing Portal 1 the first time was like fucking awesome. Playing Portal 2 was like whatever year that was. I mean, that's a good sort of 3-4 years ago now, but Portal 2 was amazing.
It was.
The multiplayer Portal 2 was amazing as well.
Yeah,
I think most of the world agrees with you that Portals were good.
Me and Al played all the Portal 2 multiplayer. It's like, I
think it's a controversial saying.
That's a touchy subject.
I don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers. I don't want angry emails. But Portal was good. So just putting it out there. Don't come at me.
I think you should be fine. I don't think there's going to be any angry emails about Portal was good. I think
there's always going to be that one guy.
I think this is one of those rare things where the internet is unanimous. Portals is amazing. The internet is unanimous.
Al, write this down. We're going to try Portal Stories : Mel, because apparently it's an amazing free edition. We're going to do that, and we're going to record it, and we're going to have fun.
Don't know if it's free. You can get it.
I don't know. Mech says it's an amazing free edition. What do you want from me?
I've played like a good few hours of it. I'm just not sure if it's free. That's all. Hang on. Let me have a quick look.
Anyway. So anyway, let's get Joe going.
I know it is free.
Like
it is
DLC
free
for it, where you have to pay per portal.
Everyone got their stopwatches going, right? It's now 10:32 and 45 seconds. Go on. I don't know that game. I forget the name of it.
Wait. Just before we go ahead.
He wants to go.
Just before we go ahead, I just want to make it clear that Portal Stories Mail is free. I just checked. I don't want people thinking I said it wasn't. I just checked. It's not. It is free. You can get it for free, so you can check it out whenever you want. So,
me and Al are gonna go check it out without you because you said you had to pay for it. So you go get some money to pay for it.
I've played half of it already. I just thought I'd paid for it.
Did you get scammed online?
I don't know. Unless Steam has started scamming people, probably not. I probably just don't remember properly. Right. So
Joe. No, I was introducing this, Joe. So there was some dark area with a lot of sand that I believe you spent a lot of time in this week.
Right. I'm gonna do it better than that. Right, Joe's Mr. Moneybags, and he spent all of his money on the €100 pre-order for Black Desert.
Did you say better or bitter? I will do this more bitter because I got the game, but I couldn't get to play 2 days earlier because Joe has more money than me. That's the bitter introduction.
That's why the lights are so dim in here, because I'm trying to save electricity. It's rather cold as well because the heating's off.
Yeah, so Joe had a 90
eaten in days.
So Joe got a 96-hour head
early
start.
Black Desert.
Yes. Everybody else, I think the next thing will start tomorrow, and then Wednesday will be for the regular Joes like me.
No one would even give a crap on Wednesday, Max. It's over. You missed it.
Yeah, hype train's done.
So come on, Joe,
anyway,
tell us all about it.
I've been grinding a lot.
A Korean MMO, shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking.
I mean, I've pretty much just been leveling. I've been doing a few other bits and pieces, did a little bit of fishing, but the thing with this game, everything takes so much effort and involvement to do. Like, I need to, if you want to fish properly and there's like leaderboards for fishing and stuff, then you really need to build like a fishing boat, and to build a fishing boat, then you need to level up your gathering and going out, and then you need to get workers and you have to train them what to do, and then you have to link nodes to different places, and eventually you get to build a boat, and then it's like, but I'm just concentrating to get max level first, since it doesn't take all that long to get there. And there's like daily quests and stuff you can do.
I know you mentioned this last week. What is your end game? Is there like raiding or that kind of thing? Or
there's no raiding or anything. There's PvP. There's guild siege battles.
Yeah, there's world bosses, isn't there?
Guilds can take over nodes on the map. They can take over towns and cities and then tax them, and they get a portion of the amount of money that's spent in the markets in those towns.
That sounds cool.
And apart from that, it's just kind of improving your character and making as much money as possible. And there's a ton of different viable options, like between trading and farming and fishing. But they're all massively time-consuming and detailed things to do, which is really good.
Yeah, if you like that kind of thing.
Have I been enjoying it?
Have you really got into it? Like, what have you liked most about it? Like, obviously you've been enjoying it, but like, what's the?
I'd say the main thing is, the weird thing is that there's these small things that have happened to MMOs that you just don't realize as the years go by. Like in WoW, for example, it's like each expansion's like it was like easier and lower level to get a mount, and then they had flying mounts, and do you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, that's great, improvement to the game. Everybody asks for that. I want easy stuff. But it kind of shrinks the world, and like WoW feels really just like you don't really see people. Everybody just flies from one spot to the other, and it's like in this you have to look after your mounts. Like mounts can level up, you have to go out and tame it. They have different speeds, they have different abilities on the mount, and then you can't just leave your mount anywhere and then pick it up somewhere else. Like your mount is actually a living thing in the game, and it has to be fed. And if you take it somewhere, like you go out to fight mobs in some camp in some part of the world, and if you just run off and forget your mount is still there. Like, you can't just suddenly call your mount from somewhere else. You have to go back and get it.
Summon it, yeah.
You can't just summon it. Exactly. So then you kind of feel attached to your mount. Do you know what I mean? So you've gone out and you spent time and you've tamed it and you've leveled it up and you can breed horses and...
It's kind of like how hunters used to feel, like old school hunters used to feel like, you know, they've got this pet, they need it, and they chose this pet. In World of Warcraft, I'm talking about. It's like, that's my pet. I like my pet. Like, he's there. Like, me and him, we've been there, like, killing stuff together since level 1. 2 or 3 or whenever you get a pet. I didn't like hunters, so I didn't play
10,
it. But, you know,
10, level 10.
That kind of thing.
But
I think you should...
It's just the effort of... Like, people think they want easy things, and they forget that difficult things are actually more rewarding and more fun.
Yeah,
Max, I feel that you should turn this into that main topic thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Broadly through this, because this is kind of like where I said this is how this will roll. This is probably why Joe was left to last.
I know. If you'd shut up for a minute, I was going to make a point, but it's fine. You carry on. You carry on with what you're doing.
Go on then. Point.
Can you stop interrupting mine, Max?
Oh, actually, before I forget, sorry. I just want to interrupt again.
You go. No, you carry on. You carry on.
So, like, there's so many like things in this game, and I've been reading about it like way before release, and still haven't figured out everything in the game. And today I saw something, and I was like, that I'd never read about before, and it was a video of some guy who went out in his boat, and there was like going through storms and stuff on the boat. And then there was a whale, so apparently you can go whale fishing, but you need to make like a whole fleet of people on boats to be able to take it down. So he went up and he tried to ram the whale, and unfortunately the whale basically just jumped on his ship and dragged it under the water and destroyed his ship that he'd spent like hours trying to build. I just thought that was amazing.
I have heard it is a true sandbox MMO. Like, it's a survival game where you don't die, and you know there's towns and villages and stuff that you can interact with, kind of thing. Well, obviously you do die, but if you die, it's not as detrimental as it is in survival.
Well, you lose
XP. Don't starve, die, where it's like start again.
Yeah,
you lose XP and you get mere gems on your equipment and stuff can break. So dying definitely has a much harsher penalty in this game.
Oh, that's good. I mean, as Martin so kindly pointed out, that is generally what we want to talk about. I mean, and that is the problem. That is one of the problems with MMOs and what they have evolved into, and they are too easy. And
no. Hold on. Give the title of exactly what we're discussing here to
our one official section.
Well, you say that it's like the death of MMOs, and how MMOs aren't. You know, actually, I'll tell you what it is. MMOs aren't massive anymore. They're
multiplayer online games.
Multiplayer online games. They're not massive. They used to feel massive.
They're multiplayer lobbies at this point. Press the button to queue up for a dungeon.
Yes. Like we mentioned the other week, that or some of us have been playing a lot of vanilla World of Warcraft, and when you play vanilla World of Warcraft, you start to notice a lot of other things. We're talking to Tell, a guy that does the podcast Top Tier Kings, and we do some videos with him, and he was saying, "Oh, you've been playing that? It's like, is it like vanilla WoW, but it still has the raid or the dungeon finder?" Like, no, it doesn't have dungeon finder. It's like, I kind of like leveling up and just doing the dungeons. It's like, yeah, so do we, but like, you know, you have to go there and do it like the old way. And I was like, well, I don't want to make it sound really bad, but you can't actually use summoning stones because summoning stones didn't exist at the beginning. You just kind of have to run there, everybody, unless you have a warlock. And it was like that. I mean, that was the point where it cuts off. The bit where you go, you don't have dungeon finder. That's good. I can understand that. 2 of you have to get to a summoning stone, summon you there. That's fine. When it was like, oh yeah, they're just meeting stones. They don't have summoning stones at the very beginning. It's like, what, we have to have all 5 of us manage to run there. That takes a lot of time.
I do remember me and Max, we leveled together, like our first characters.
Oh, yes.
Well, you had like a horde hunter actually. So, but we had to run from Scarlet Monastery. You had to run all the way from, was it South Shore? The Scarlet Monastery. Also, this was like around the 40-ish level. So some people had mounts, some people didn't. So you get a group of 5 people in Stormwind or Ironforge or wherever. You'd fly down to South Shore, and then you had to run all the way to the dungeon.
It was a long run.
And it was a long run. And not just that, but
and it's that swim across the lake as well.
Yeah, then there'd be some guy who'd quit. And then you go like, all right, so now someone has to like...
go back to a city to find somebody else.
Find
to advertise.
Well, he's then waiting for like one more person who then has to fly, and everybody then have to run back to the dungeon. It was like, some of them were a bit obnoxious.
But the thing is, that would be fine. Like, that's the thing. It's like fine where if one person go back to the city, advertise, find it, and then you summon both of you in, then it's fine. But yeah, when you all had to run there, like that's when you're going, this is a big, and this is one of the things. And I did like Max, make your point, Max, because I don't want to. I know this is your point about the size of the world and like the travel times and stuff like that, making it what it is.
Oh yeah, well I guess this is what triggered you to bring this up, was because Joe was talking about the fact that MMOs these days they are just online lobbies where you just click the button. They don't feel like worlds, and you get your mount so early that you don't ever have to struggle. And yeah, there's been something about playing it. Like Blizzard constantly, whenever you have these BlizzCons and these game panels, and everyone says, "Are you ever gonna put up the old servers?" Like their response is always, "You think you want that, but you don't want that." They have the rose-tinted glasses kind of approach. But honestly, like playing on this server, like really, really does make you aware of everything that's wrong with current World of Warcraft, and it's not isolated to just World of Warcraft. Like, you know, we've played plenty of MMOs over the last few years. Every man and their dog up until recently.
Jump in quickly, Max.
Oh, go on.
Is when they say you don't want that, it's like, well, give us the option. You don't have to say, like, you can have like a classic WoW server and these WoW servers. Say, oh no, you don't want that. It's like, well, give us the option.
Well, from their point of view, it's them spending money and resources on something that they think people will get bored of very quickly. So they're saying, we don't want to do it, and trust me, you don't want it, kind of thing. Like, I get where you're coming from, but if they do honestly...
I understand what they're coming from playing the vanilla WoW. Like, from playing it and kind of going, yeah, this was so awesome the first time round. It's not awesome anymore. Like, I want to... I enjoyed it as I'm just... It
needs to be in a new game, because you've seen all that content.
It needs to be new, yes.
When something takes age, and it's like in Black Desert, I'm sure, you know, at some point you won't want to level another character up from all the beginning to the end, and, you know, like if you played through the whole game and you did everything and you maxed out your fishing and whatever, like of course it's going to be more boring the next time. And you think you might have kind of forgotten what it was like in vanilla WoW, but you've been playing WoW and it's this kind of the same zones and stuff, and you've played it for so long at this point that
it's the steady change. This is what gets you, you see. So it's, say that Blizzard went and made the vanilla server like that we've been playing on, and they go, there you go, there's that thing that you wanted, there's your vanilla server, you got your big world, and then it's like, oh yeah, but can you not make the summoning stones that the instances actually summon? We'll have that, because that's not cheating. That's just, like, you know, that's quality of life stuff.
Well, some things are improvements, though.
Then they give you that, and then people will go, yeah, but like maybe like we should also get this other thing that it's like a slow, like as you step by step, because all the stuff, when you look at vanilla to now, it's massively different, but nothing was massively different as you went along. It was just 10 years of gradual steps that got you there.
That's not true. I mean, well, it is true to a certain extent, but yeah. I mean, that is true. Like if you set up vanilla, like all people would ask for is all this stuff, and people, but they wouldn't give it to them because they wouldn't be spending that much time on it. But you're right, and that's what people would be asking for. And that's what they could be asking for. And I'm not here to say that, like, this isn't supposed to be about the fact that everybody should be playing vanilla World of Warcraft. But there is an appetite.
You shouldn't. I mean,
right.
It is good to a certain degree, but there are so many things you miss.
But yeah, but anyway, there is a community out there that wants it. Like, it definitely exists.
Yeah, definitely.
And there are people that want to enjoy it, and they're not. In these communities, they're not asking for those things because they know they can't have them. Because there's no development for the game at all. There's just as it existed, and people get to play it through this way that they've set it up. But going back to these older MMOs and playing through them again, you realise some of the things that made them so addictive and so strong in the first place was a lot of the fact that it was hard. Yes, having like the Summoning Stone is like this great example of something that they put in, but then the looking for group system is a step too far. It is like just being able to queue into a dungeon. For me, obviously this is going to be subjective, but for me, the whole thing about an MMORPG, it is the most social form of gaming there has ever been. You know, in the last 10 years or so, there has been no other form of game where you are so massively encouraged to interact with the other people around you. You meet people, you make friends. People have formed relationships and got married because of the relationship that they formed within one of these games. And so,
but a lot of this stuff is very different. Like now, I wonder compared to how it was, because you had things like Second Life and that, where people were doing all this stuff. It is all very new. You're talking about a world when WoW first came in 10 years ago, when YouTube was barely around. Like now, YouTube is like what YouTube is, like a massive thing. Like back then, it's like YouTube is just this like thing that's just starting up. Like it was big, but it's not. And same with Facebook and all these things that are now massive things. And
I'm pretty sure YouTube was already big when, like, I have videos I made of Dark Age of Camelot on YouTube.
YouTube was established in 2000. YouTube and World of Warcraft came out in America in the same year. YouTube was established in 2004. Vanilla WoW came out November 2004 in the States. It came out February 2005 in the Europe.
Yeah,
so they came out around the same time.
12 years old ago. Okay. They were just starting up all these things. Like World of Warcraft, I feel, is another thing like YouTube, like Facebook, that started up just at the point where the internet had got to the point where we weren't running off of like shitty modems that like couldn't do anything, and people were starting to get decent internet, get decent speeds where they could do more stuff. And because of that, we had something new that we'd never had before, and World of Warcraft was something new and different that we never had before. And
whoa! But that's the point. It wasn't.
We can't replicate that.
It became ridiculously. But it wasn't. It wasn't like Warcraft didn't. Warcraft took existing ideas and just did them very well. But anyway, like that wasn't what I was talking about. What I was talking about was the sociability of it. Like, nothing to do with it being new or anything like that. Or it was about the fact that one of the things, like the fact that the Dungeon Finder was a step too far. Like, it is a great quality of life thing, but all of a sudden, like, nobody interacts with anybody inside these games anymore. Like, if you message someone randomly, they're just going to assume you're a gold seller or you're a beggar.
I think just like the whole Dungeon Finder is just like the final nail thing. I think other things like are there, and the whole point was there's this whole disconnect with the world where it's no longer, like it's the game lobby thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And things like flying mounts and other things, like what other reason once you have, you've got to like max level is there to go out into the world?
Like flying mounts just destroys any social aspect of the game, because you never see anybody. Like you just fly from point A to B. That means there's nobody running around to talk to anywhere. Like
you don't feel like you're part of a multiplayer game. Then you just feel like you got a landscape around on a ground mount you're running through. As I remember, the 40-man raids where everybody would like meet up in certain points, and then we'd all run to the raid together on mounts. So watching like 40 people like run through like an area on mounts, it's cool. You don't get that with flying mounts. Even if you tried to stick together, you'd all like disperse. You're going too fast. It's one of those things where you don't feel anymore like you're part of the world.
This is kind of
feel.
That's exactly what you said about it, Max. Like you don't feel you're part of this massive thing, And this is the point.
Yeah, but I don't think it's just the dungeon finder that does that.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. There's loads of stuff that does it. But
this is the point about games now. Is that I don't like a lot of times, especially WoW, but like I think it probably happens with a lot of other games. Like I want things to be streamlined. Like I want to go in there and do this. I know you can do this now. Now I've experienced it somewhere else. I want to experience it here. I don't want to go, oh my god, I have to run around and do this and do this and do this and do this, unless that's what the game's all about. If my end game is to try and go and do this,
you can't uninvent something.
Yeah, exactly. Like the first time I played WoW, it's like, yeah, I'm running around. No, this is what it's massive. Look, I'm exploring somewhere. It's amazing. It's cool. Like now, it's like, oh, I don't want to do that. Like I know that really, I'm here for the dungeons. So give me the dungeons. Right, cool, I'll go do it. And that's kind of what Marvel Heroes does, Max. Because Marvel Heroes, you go to a main hub, you do your initial thing, you go to a main hub, and they will send you off. You can teleport or fly or get helicoptered, however they describe it, basically to each instance as you go along. That's what they do. They just send you there, and you go do the instance, and you come back, and they give you it. And they're dotted about, and there are some main world parts that they have in it, but they realise that people don't want this whole thing where I run around and meet people and...
But that's not true. People do want it. That's how single-player RPGs work.
The difference is people don't want it. They think they want it. They don't. That's the difference.
If
you took it away, if it was never there, I think MMOs would be way better. But if you don't have it, and because people have that now, they're like, what? I've got to run over there? No, I'm not going to play this game.
I don't know. I think that's a little bit harsh.
No. There's a market for it. That you're very.
No. I'm not talking about old MMO servers. I'm talking about single player RPGs. One of the big problems is MMO RPGs have not been RPGs for a long time. No, I'm not. Like one of the things about RPGs that sucks people in is they want that world. They want it to feel like a world that they're part of. And even like the fact that there's 1,000 other people running around in the world with you, the old way of used to doing it where you used to go to an area, you'd have to find the quest, you'd have to dig them all out. There wouldn't just be a quest hub right bang in the middle of your little village where you go to person A, pick up your quest, person B, pick up your quest, pick them all up, go out and do them, and then come back and hand them all in. It's been streamlined to the fact where it's like, it's a pointless exercise. It's like, why am I doing this? Like, and they all the MMOs do it these days. Like WildStar was exactly the same. Star Wars: The Old Republic is exactly the same as well. Like Star Wars: The Old Republic has the nice little niche thing of having an amazing story. Like I've always said, Star Wars: The Old Republic is the greatest single-player MMO anyone's ever made. But like,
I think we know too much. That's the problem.
Wait. We don't know too much. Like,
playing Vanilla WoW was very, very similar to like having the quest hubs. I don't know if it's because I know where all the stuff is. I don't really know where to go. But you go there and you still go there. They're not defined as hard as they are now.
No. It's completely different. No.
I know.
Let me explain why. But let me explain why it's completely different. It's completely different because it would be go to a quest hub, you pick up all the quests, and then you go to all those quests in a nearby area, and then you come back, and then you hand them all in, and then you pick up a quest from someone that sends you to the next quest hub, and you would kind of do that, and that's how current MMOs work, and that's the current.
I thought you were talking about that's how they used to do it.
No, wait. Let me get to that. This is how current MMOs work, and that's what the leveling experience is, and it's got streamlined to the point where it's like, it doesn't matter. This is just something that you're delaying the end game for me for. Whereas the way it used to be and the way it works in a normal RPG is that you explore, you find stuff. Yes, after a while you know where all the stuff is in an MMO, and after a while in a single player RPG you know where it all is, and there are people that replay them over and over again to find more and more stuff. No, I'm not. Like what happens in an old school MMORPG is you pick up a quest. And it tells you to go and travel to another area, a whole other area. Like you still got loads of quests to do in that area that you're in, but you'll pick up a quest that sends you to a whole different area to drop a message off for Bilbo Baggins who wants to know how his cousin's doing. You literally go there, and all you get is a quest that sends you right bloody back again. You'll spend 20 minutes doing this quest.
There most of the time. Like some of them they are, but most of the time you go there and they go, it's normally a guy who's sitting on the border of the two zones. You go meet Dave. Dave's sitting on the border of the two zones. He's a proper geezer. Like, you want to chat to him. You go, right, Dave, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'll go meet him down the road. They had a couple of drinks down the pub. You want to go have them? They go down the pub and they go, oh, I'll go kill some crocodiles or some shit or whatever. And they go, yeah, and get me a few bags while you're out there because I want a few bags. And get me a few gold coins. And there's some other one who wants, like, I don't know, spider's legs. Whatever random crap.
They do like spiders' legs. They do.
But that's what I mean. That's what we do. You go level in a place. You do that. They go to Candor Village and you go do that, and then you do the stuff around there, and then you go over to Loch Lomond and you go do that, and they go, oh, go to that site on the other side of the fucking lock, and you go do the big site.
You haven't got high enough level. You haven't got to the point where you get to a zone and you can only do 3 of the quests in that zone, and the rest of them are too high a level for you, and you have to do a load of quests there. Then you have to find somewhere else to go, and you get a few more quests, and you get a little bit more of your level, and you might even get about 3 or 4 more levels before you can come back to that quest hub and do the rest of the quests. Like,
so what you're saying is that they made a game where you go, all right, do these quests. You've now done all the quests, but you're not capable of going to the next zone. Go grind shit for an hour.
No.
Now you can do
it's not go grind shit. I say go somewhere else and do quests somewhere else. Like, there is definitely an explore mechanic, because the old exclamation marks don't pop up.
I disagree with that, because you're saying go to one zone.
Well,
everywhere has somewhere. Everyone has someone that sends you to the next bit. They
really, really don't. Like, neither of you have played this recently. I have, like.
Yeah, but I remember what you're saying. I remember about it, but it's just saying, all right, explore the left half of this zone. Now go and explore the right half of the other zone. All right, now go back and explore the other half of that zone you were just in.
But all
it's just
that
moving
stuff,
you backwards and forwards.
Yeah. But all that stuff is
like
what.
Going,
we're talking about why the worlds feel so small and why leveling feels so pointless. All that stuff about moving you around and making you do all this stuff actually makes the world feel so much bigger. And like you're having so much more of an impact on it. Like going to one place and doing a bunch of quests and like then moving on, like it's so meaningless. Like this has so much more impact to it. You feel so much more like you're in a world. You're in a world that when you log off carries on. I don't feel like I'm in a world.
I disagree with you for that. You could do this in many, many other ways. It's just pointless busy work that just kind of like breaks it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a little thing that makes that bigger difference. That's what I'm saying.
No. But that's what MMOs are anyway. They are just a whole game of busy work. Like you're saying, like go level up fishing. Well, like it's just busy work, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like for people who enjoy quests.
Yeah, I leveled up fishing. I loved it.
Like it's what you enjoy doing, basically. But there just needs to be options. You shouldn't be forced into like questing to level up, for example. Like some people like grinding, some like questing, some people like crafting.
But yeah, there's a lot more traveling in the older MMOs. A lot more almost pointless traveling where you just have to go somewhere. You have to say somebody wants to know how Bob's doing over on the other side of the world.
But this is the point. You could forgive it back then. Back then you didn't know better. Now everyone's played a game where you go, I've got a better travel system. You don't have to go to the take me straight to this dungeon point. But at the same time, you can't go back to the, right, you're going to be running for 20 minutes. So put something on your other computer screen and watch a bit of YouTube because you're going to be doing this for a while.
Yeah, but people put something on their other screen and watch a bit of YouTube when they're leveling in a normal MMO because it's so methodical and it's streamlined to the exact thing.
But you don't have to
concentrate on it.
Does that make it better? Does that make it better where you're going to do that? I remember when I used to fly from like the top end of Kalimdor to the bottom end of Kalimdor when I was playing WoW originally. That was the point when I go, doing this flight path, this is like fucking 10 minutes. I'm going to have my shower before I go to work now and possibly iron my shirt if I have time. Because it just took time. It's like, okay, off we go. And I get that, and it was good. I understand the whole point about making the world seem big, seem epic. The smaller you make it seem, the more it's just like a game with options. I do get that, and I do agree with you. But there are there are certain points where you go, well, they just made leveling more efficient and more enjoyable. Like, you're over-egging that point of it. Making it feel big by, like, you know, not being able to just do group finder or not being able to just teleport into a certain zone, I can get. But at the same time, making leveling more efficient isn't what hurt MMOs.
I think as well, like, it's the first time experience thing, like what you were saying earlier, Martin.
Yeah.
About, like, it's the first time experiencing thing of, like, I'd never played an MMO before. Yeah, I'd never experienced this online. I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, thousands of people in the same thing. You go to Ironforge and the exploring of the new world and, like, the new mechanics and the whole, like, working together and the raiding system. It was the newness of it and the exploration that was great for me, which is why I loved it. I couldn't go back and play it again because I'd already explored it. I know the mechanics and I know what they're trying to get me to do, and I see kind of like the behind the scenes of it, of the MMO, and it's lost its magic.
You know what it is? I tell you what, like, you know how you look at platformers now? You have to do something really amazing to be a platformer, but for people like us to not go, yeah, but I mean, do you remember that Mario, or do you remember that Sonic thing? Like, I don't think this is as good as that.
Whoa, that's not right. People make platformers all the time. Some of them are sometimes great, some of them aren't, some of them are mediocre.
Yeah, exactly. But, like, we have a bar that we compare them to. Do you not think you have a bar? Do you not always think when they're making the platform and go,
I don't.
I remember Sonic, I remember Mario.
But that's the game developer's job, is to exceed that bar.
Exactly. But that's exactly what my point is.
They do need to exceed that bar, but we're talking about elements that have been lost, is I guess is my point, is the elements that have been lost that actually made them good. There are plenty of quality of life changes that have been put in that did improve the genre, for sure. Like, you know, like the summoning stones that we were talking about before, like, they were very good. The fact that the combat has improved in these games, like, let's take it away from Warcraft for a minute, like, WildStar's combat system was fantastic fun. It was really great. It wasn't even that big a change. They just kind of made all the abilities telegraphed effects that were sort of AoE, and it really added a big difference. But it still allowed you to keep that tank, healer, DPS kind of mix. Whereas other MMOs have tried to move away from it and do that Korean style, like Guild Wars 2, Blade and Soul, Black Desert, where you don't have your Triforce or whatever it's called, Holy Trinity. That's the word. You don't have your Holy Trinity of your tank, healer, and DPS. But WildStar managed to, like, change up the combat system, but they kept pretty much everything else the same. Admittedly, their big problems was they didn't really have enough content. They were trying to appeal to this strictly hardcore community, which was never going to be big enough to support their game. And they failed on many other reasons.
This is the thing, you just said it there. It's like, if you hardcore people are the people that want to play. But that's the thing, it's like the hardcore WoW community are people that have been playing it since the beginning. The other ones don't want to do that. And you have to remember, there's people that have picked up these games later on in life. We remember them as their, like, beginning. There's people that, you know, WoW's been around for like 10, 12 years. There's people who started playing that 6 years in, 7 years in, 8 years in, 9 years in, 10 years in, 11 years in, and they don't see these things as quality of life. They see them as the norm. They don't remember the days where we go, oh, I remember that. They're like, wow, you used to live in a world where you used to do that? Like, that's awful. It's like, you know, when I sit my kids down and go, yes, I used to live in a world where I couldn't pause TV. And they're like, you couldn't pause TV? How did you live? What happened when you went to the toilet? I don't understand. And you go, yes, it was a difficult time. Some of us got through it. Some of us didn't make it.
Some of us managed to wait for a commercial break.
But that's not really fair. Like, you're just saying because the old games would be so raw. Like, if you took somebody from a new WoW and then dumped them in vanilla WoW, you're saying basically because they're so used to the fact and they grew up, like, in the new WoW without experiencing the old WoW, that they just hate the old one, which is fair enough. But new games going forward can emulate what vanilla WoW was like, but in a way that encourages those people to understand why it's so rewarding to have to put effort into things.
Yeah, I agree. You can have like you can take Vanilla WoW. You can say, all right, what's obnoxious and annoying about it, and what's actually good game mechanics.
Yeah.
So this is what was good about it. This is what made it good. You may not like it because you're used to this easy mode, new ones, but then you can refine it. You can make original WoW and things that made it so good, and improve upon it.
And call it Black Desert.
I think that's very true. I think you can do that, but I think the big problem is that we're looking at this from I want an XYZ. I think this would be good.
I don't want anything. I don't have the time for an MMO. This is just a discussion.
But they're looking from I don't want to risk losing these people by like not giving them a dungeon finder. If they go, I don't want to have to fucking run to the fucking place and get summoned there. Like, I'm not playing this game.
So you're saying it's game developers' lack of risk aversion.
Yeah, I think that would certainly play a large point in it.
That's no. In this world of the way games are developed these days, when they get announced and then for the next 2 or 3 years they're constantly podcasting, releasing information, interacting with the communities and the people that are getting hyped about their game and communicating with them constantly, I think there would be a large part of their community that would be like, oh no, we need the dungeon finder, we must have the dungeon finder. But actually, if they were aware of what they were trying to do and they're pushing this ideal of, no, you don't understand, we want to make our game more social because we feel one of the big social things that's been lost.
Well, my point is, you're talking about some people who aren't that brave to do that. Most people aren't that brave to go and like have that whole community going, we want a dungeon finder.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be the whole community.
No, you don't. And they go, no, we want a dungeon finder. And they go, no, you don't. Like, they're not that brave to do that on some game that hasn't come out yet, and they're trying to push. That's my point.
Because the dungeon finder, I mean, this is also, I guess, goes back to sort of whole hardcore casual conversation as well, of like, actually, does a casual gamer want to log on to do a dungeon and have to spend 20 minutes to put that group together, or do they just want to log on? I suppose if they're playing a damage dealer, they generally will have to queue for 20 minutes anyway. But do you know what I'm getting at? Do they really want to go through the whole hassle of putting a group together and then having at least 2 of them go over to where the dungeon is and summon everybody else there?
I have a max level WoW character purely play arena because I like the PvP and I do enjoy a bit of arena. But I haven't done any of the dungeons. I haven't done any of the max level dungeons. And I tell you what, if I did it, I'd do the dungeon finder, obviously. And if that wasn't there, I'm not doing it with that there. And I might do it at some point. But I'm sure as hell not doing it if I have to put any effort into it.
Yeah, well, the thing is like, I don't want to do the dungeons anyway because they've been made too easy, and this is also a side effect of the dungeon finder as well. Because you're queuing into a random dungeon with random people, or even if you're queuing into the dungeon that you want to do, you're queuing in with random people, not people that you've selected and had a conversation with to ascertain like who they are, what their gear level is, what they understand about the dungeons that they're going for. Maybe you've played with them before. Like, admittedly, I've not played a huge amount of WoW in a long time, but I haven't added somebody to my friends list in about 2 years. Like, I just haven't had a conversation with someone.
Because you smell, Max. People can still smell it through the internet.
Well, I could add them to my friends list. They just wouldn't add me to theirs. It's fine. But
the thing is, I do understand. Like, I see Zowsy like raging in chat about this. Like, I understand. I miss the whole. It was difficult. It being hard and everything like that. I do like the whole sound of Black Desert and that the whole.
Oh, Black Desert isn't hard, from what I understand. There's a lot of effort goes into it, as Joe was saying. There's a lot of cool stuff that you have to do.
You choose your goal and you put the effort in. It takes time. That's what makes it feel real and epic. It's like you're saying, the travel time or whatever you do. If you're doing something that you can lose, that you put a lot of time into, that's half of the battle of making it feel large and immersive. And I miss that bit. I do miss that. I miss it feeling like it's real world, and I did enjoy it when I was doing like a little bit of vanilla that I did. I'm not sure that it will pull in enough people or cater to enough people in a general sense, in a long-term sense, like depending how your business model is. So I do wish it was like that, because I know when Joe was talking about this week, he was talking about, it's amazing, like running around there. It took so much time, but you feel like you're part of the world. That's what you want. I want to feel like I'm in this different world where I'm riding around on my horse. And the whole idea, like Joe was saying, is that I don't just summon my horse, that I've got to look after him, and I feel like he's part of my story, because it should really be about you making your own story and you imagining it for yourself.
Yeah, and your investment in time in things that you've achieved or that you've got, and if you just reach level 40, ding, there's your horse. All right, there we go. You're not invested in that. You're just like, oh yeah, whatever. I remember having to get the money together to get like level 40 and level 60 horses. Scale. I remember having to find a group of 3 other people, like specially we got this group together to get the items and things to do the Paladin epic horse quest.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Amazing. And when I had that, I was like, oh, check out my ride, boys.
It's funny how even little mundane things can be so satisfying. Like, for example, today I wanted to get a saddle for my horse, but to get a saddle, the NPCs just won't sell it to you because obviously they don't like you very much at the start. So you have to go out and you gain knowledge in the game. Like every time you kill monsters or you find areas or speak to NPCs, you get knowledge. And then there's a knowledge game that you can play with NPCs who they'd be interested in certain other NPCs. And you play this game and basically you can rank up with them. But I had to go out and find out who he's interested in, and then go around and then talk to those people, then come back and then do this game and eventually get the saddle. And it's like, you can imagine kitting out your whole horse. I think there's horse armor and there's stirrups so that you can do mounted combat, and by the time you've got your whole horse kitted out, you're just going to be my precious, don't ever leave him near mobs or run him into the water.
And somebody could eat that horse.
Park him.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's just, but it's so mundane when you think about it. I mean, everything is, I guess, in a most. The other thing as well is, there's a big difference, I guess, between this whole MMO dungeon raiding endgame that is kind of taken over with WoW, and what I remember is MMOs where it's like Skyrim or something. It's like an RPG. If Skyrim was about to come out and everybody was going, oh, but what's the end game? What's the end game? Can I raid at the end of the game? And it's no, there's no end game. You play the game. The game is the fun part.
Yeah,
and that's what I miss from other MMOs, and that's what Black Desert is more like, where there's just lots of thick stuff to do as you're improving your character. The game is just fun to play. You're not trying to get to max level just to get gear to do dungeons, which is totally legit. I mean, I've done that,
I remember...
for a long time and enjoyed it, but it's a different type of game, really.
Yeah, I remember when Martin was watching us a raid, and he was like, oh, no, I'm not going to raid when I get to level 60. It's I really enjoy leveling, and I like leveling up my characters, and I think it's it's 2 parts of a game back then. It was you had the whole fun of exploring and leveling in the world, and then you had the whole fun of having a max character and doing these hard challenging bosses with 39 other people. And to me it was 2 separate games then. There was the end game, and then there was the other game that you couldn't do till you couldn't do the end game till you finished the other game.
But they've kind of forgotten about that's totally fine, except they've gone and concentrated solely now on this end game. And WoW has kind of gone away from this exploration fun, crafting. Oh, I want to max crafting. Well, then I'll just go to the auction house, buy all the mats. Oh, done. Took me 30 minutes. I'm maxing that crafting. There's nothing kind of left in the rest of the game.
Spent to a Chinese gold farmer to get you the money.
Yeah. I gave this guy $20.
And the world as well. It doesn't grow. When an expansion comes out, it doesn't add to the world and create an even more or even better world to explore.
I think
it's just a mini game.
Wow.
Each expansion is just its own game, basically. The whole rest of the world that they've created and spent all this time on
doesn't matter anymore.
Just doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. When they bring out the expansions, the world just seems to shrink. It seems to become that island or that new expansion. You've lost these whole massive islands. It's just that new expansion area. That's it.
Yeah, that's all you need to do. That's all you need to go to. Like you don't need to spend any time out in the world. It's just you're just in the new place, and it just doesn't matter anymore. And it just is a little bit sad.
It's like, oh, it was Shatra, and then it was Dalaran, and then it was whatever the ones that I missed out in between were, and then it's whatever the one it is they're at now. Yeah, everyone just
I feel like a vagabond in WoW at this stage.
You just go to whatever the major city was, and the one from the previous expansion becomes a ghost town that is never visited anymore.
But you had that in the original, but everybody went to Ironforge as the Alliance. But it was
or
because
Ogrimmar,
you could then, as Alliance, but then everybody could get to the Molten Core and things like that easily from there. So it's like you congregated who was closest. Now you just sit in whatever expansion city it is.
Yeah, well, in Mists you didn't do that, and I think I suppose in Warlords everyone just sits in their garrison.
Yeah, that's even worse. The garrison thing was a terrible idea. Let's do that thing where you know how everybody congregated and you saw everybody's gear and stuff. Let's just eliminate that, and you can sit in your own little thing where no one else can come
and play Farmville.
Yeah, play Farmville
in our massively multiplayer online game where you can queue for the dungeons on your own. You now have to see no one else.
It's so ridiculous.
Your massively single-player online game. That's it. They've all just become single-player experiences that you can kind of invite your mates into if you want to, because you definitely don't want to interact with anyone else because they're all horrible people. It's the internet. You just don't want to talk to them. It's scary. Don't go anywhere near them. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like, I feel like not. I know the topic is the quote unquote death of MMOs, and it is a bit of a clickbaity title. And one of the things that Rupert always says whenever this topic is brought up on our TeamSpeak outside of sort of discussion things online like this is that he hates the fact that people call it the death. And he's like, it implies that in some way it means the genre is going to cease to be. It's like, it's not dying, it's not dead. It's just, it's less popular than it was before.
Its dominance has gone down.
It's not as dominant as it used to be.
There's just, if you think about it, there's MMOs on mobile phones now. There's so many MMOs. I guarantee there's more people playing MMOs now still than when WoW was in its heyday.
All right,
but they're just spread out over, hundreds of different MMOs.
Let's exclude the mobile market because it's the mobile market. But no, it is a fair point. But and you're right, even on PC there is still quite a few of them. But I'd love to get the numbers up because there are lots of good MMOs, but Blizzard have stopped publishing their WoW figures because they had that 4.5 million, which is still the biggest MMO by a long way.
And it's still extremely good for
basically
subscription game.
I thought I looked it up. It's 5.3 million subscribers was their last in 2015 last quarter.
I mean,
that's
still huge.
At one quarter they stopped reporting them. But anyway, that was a massive fall off from whatever they got up to in Warlords. They got up to something like 8 or 9 million. But
I think it peaked at something like 12 million subscribers.
Yeah, about 12,
during Warlords. I'm talking about during Warlords.
No.
The most I'm talking about in the last year or so. So the most they've ever had, was 13 million during Wrath of the Lich King. That was when it was huge. That's when it was massive. And quite frankly, that was when it was already declining. Everyone that was playing from Vanilla onwards or from Burning Crusade onwards says Burning Crusade is probably the best expansion. And it was probably was the time when World of Warcraft was at the best.
I disagree. I think that I don't think that Burning Crusade was that good.
Oh wow, really? That's interesting.
I'm actually honestly surprised to hear you say that.
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear you say that.
I disliked it immensely for the amount of different stats you had to juggle around. And it's all right, you need to get this much hit and this much. And I just found it was me just micromanaging my gear. And I was like, all right, so I need to make this, and I need to get this, and all right, so I need to get that gear with that enchant, and I need to go and get that gem. And I was like, and every time you got a new item, instead of it feeling like amazing, you were like, oh, right, now I have to rejiggle everything around. So the point of like getting new gear wasn't fun anymore. I was just like, looks cool, but it's going to take me an hour to work out what I have to put on my other gear.
I think that the MMOs are going to be about MMOs. Like, people think of the MMOs as a different thing. I hear people at work who obviously aren't like PC gamers and that talking about things like Clash of Clans, like mobile games that have been their MMOs. Like, you know, they're massively multiplayer online games. And I can't really argue with that thing. They're not what I think of MMOs as being, but I understand what you're saying. And people get their fix like so much easier. Like, people want to play in this thing, big immersive world where they're playing with other people, and it's so much easier now than like 10, 12 years ago. Like, you know, you can do so much stuff online playing these games, and obviously these games are Farmville, but WoW has turned itself into Farmville, so what do you fucking want? And it you know, I think that games like the game like Joe was saying is like more what I would like saying Black Desert, like where you're kind of there and you like, you know, you get to like be immersive. That it's remembering the RPG part of the MMORPG that is the important bit. It's the whole point. You go there. It's meant to be a role playing game. It's meant to be you're a character doing this and that, not just I'm not a character. I'm just Dave on character number 3, and I want to get to my raid.
Yeah,
please.
The leveling experience.
It's just a prop for loot.
Yes.
Yeah.
You stick your loot on it.
I'm a paper doll. That is what I am.
Stuff.
I just want to play a game where I'm a paper doll and I'm just going to take off different loot and put on other loot, and I'm going to walk around really shiny where nobody else can see me because I'm playing my single player game. But yeah, the leveling experience should be an experience as opposed to something that gates the end game. I want to say experience again, but I'm saying experience far too many times. But yeah, it's got to that point where the leveling is now just something that you have to get out of the way before you play the game. In which case, why not just take it out? Like in Warcraft, they've done that.
You shouldn't be rushing through the leveling. You shouldn't be like, all right, how do I get to the max level as soon as possible? What's like the most optimum way, and just following that?
Yeah, enjoying the story.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I understand people not liking lore and stuff like that. But like that's what I kind of like about this new Marvel game. Like, there's all these things that I hear, like, try to look a little about it, like this shards and these marks and these epic tokens and whatever. I don't understand what all that stuff is, and that's kind of half the fun. Half the fun is you don't know. The other half is like, I want to do the story. I want to do the story the first time and see what's happening and what's going on. And that's why they've done it well, because the second time you don't have to do that crap anymore. Once you've done the story once, you don't want to do it again. But it's like fun. It's like, I want to know. You got these cutscenes, and I'm doing crap to Dr. Boom. Wrong game. Dr. Doom. And
that's Thursday, Martin. Okay.
Yeah, it's Thursday's podcast.
On Thursday, at least Doctor. Yeah, he'll be rotated out. I have to worry about him.
We're talking about Doom bots on.
But there are way more cutscenes than I would expect, and they're actually really pushing the story in the Marvels thing, and I think it's very good. I think that's what you want, because I do kind of want the story. The first time through, I want to feel like I'm in this world where I'm doing the story and I'm doing this thing. The second time, I don't want it, because the second time I'm like, yeah, I've done that. Now I just want to get a guide to whatever the end game part of this is. But
that can be easily fixed. You have like a 2-tier leveling system. So if it's your first character,
that's what Marvel's done. Yeah. That is what they've done, and I quite like it.
But the point is that I don't think you get an expansion. I don't get an expansion in WoW, like where I go, I really want to know what happens. It's just like, let me play arena, please. I have to level. Oh my god. Can someone do this for me?
Yeah.
You know,
leveling, it's not like, oh my god, there's this huge world that I get to go out.
to do it for you, Martin.
Yes,
get your 7-year-old to do it. That's the way to go. Yeah, it's not like there's this huge world out there that you want to go out and look at and get to know. It's like, it doesn't do it. It's almost like, and like you said, people don't know that they want that it's going to make it a better experience. So it's almost like you have to gate the second tier of leveling. So they're not allowed to do the other way of leveling, which would maybe just send you off to random instances to do random quests, farming mobs or whatever, which is your tier 2 way of leveling, where you can just like stay in your hub and just do it or whatever. But you have to have played through the main story first before you're allowed to do it. And then because then it doesn't matter when it comes to your second character and you just want to get it up to max level as quickly as possible. Like, that's fine. It's like, but you're already in touch with that world. You already feel a connection to it, and you'll already like have that immersion. It doesn't matter that your second character doesn't necessarily have the same experience, because you as a person, the person playing the character, already has. You know, it would be immersive. Like, maybe there is something to that. Maybe there is some way to do it.
I would actually really love to play Witcher. Has anyone here played The Witcher? Al, you seem like the most likely one. Or Joe?
Nope.
I've played all the Witchers.
Have you?
Mm-hmm.
And give me your lowdown, give me your rundown, marks out of 10.
Witcher 3 is an amazing game. Like, just
How old is the original one? Like, does it stand up to play today, kind of thing?
yeah, you can definitely play it today.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a good story.
It's I guess it's a little bit harder in terms of like figuring out where things are. Like Max was saying, that kind of like not very handholdy at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of get a bit stuck sometimes. You might need to look things
like,
up, I guess.
Go off and find stuff. And like,
Well,
where?
yeah,
Go,
exactly.
over there somewhere. Go on. Walk.
Yeah,
Off you
the
go.
first Witcher was 2007, so it's not like
Not that
massively
old.
old. You should be all right.
Whereas the
It's
second
one of
one
those
is
things where
way...
you go 2007, you go, that's not that old, and you suddenly go, wow, that's almost 10 years.
Yes, you know you're old when you're saying 10 years wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago, I was drinking and going out and partying and having fun, and other people were like in their 5th year of school.
Wow.
Now,
I was playing games, MMOs.
Yeah, in 2007 I was playing World of Warcraft. I was
And
I think,
in 1999, I think I was playing Ultima Online. And
in 2007,
I pretty much
I was
just
playing
shot
World
out
of
of
Warcraft
the
and getting
womb into a seat in front of an MMO. Pretty much.
2007 playing World of Warcraft and getting ready to have my first baby.
oh wow. That's a scary
my
thought.
baby's getting big, baby. Big baby.
Yeah, she's going to be leveling all your characters in the next generation of MMOs for you.
She's already playing Hearthstone, isn't she?
Pardon?
She's
Yeah,
all-
no, she's playing Hearthstone. Only against the AI, but she's
Has she
loving
beaten
it.
Max yet?
Well, I mean, I like to give her a challenge, so I put her against the AI on easy. Right?
Thanks. Thanks so much. I'm so glad I can be here.
I don't want to be sitting next to Sophia and go, "Let Max win. Let Max win." Look, he's getting really angry. He's giving you some offensive "I'm sorry's." Just let him win. Just let him win.
All right. I'm going to take this as a sign that we are done with this topic. Is there any way that we want to kind of round it up to summarize? I mean, what do we think?
I think
Black Desert.
MMOs are fine for the people that
Join
want
our
to
guild
play.
in Black Desert.
I want to play these games. Like I think MMOs work the best when they're free to play and you get to have a bit of a chance at it, because like I'm more likely to put some money into Marvel, for example, after having played it a bit and I'm quite enjoying it. Whereas I'm more shaky on a game that I'm expected to put so many hours into with a, shall we say, negative end goal, or there is no end goal. I find that a dicey proposition for some reason. Like, if I'm putting money into it, I want to know what I'm doing, and I do perfectly understand the whole point that people.
Well, I'll give you my.
do it.
I've got.
That's only because I don't have money. If I had money, I'll probably just fucking do it.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I had.
But I have like 5 3-day trials or something for Wednesday. I forgot to say that to you actually.
Oh really, Robbie?
Yeah.
Why didn't you tell me this?
So don't buy it yet. Try it.
Oh yeah,
Try it
I'll
first.
give it. I'll definitely give it a go. Yeah, give me one of them. I'll give it a go. Like these games interest me. I like these games, but I do. This is the thing. I don't have that amount of money to dump into something I'm going to give a go at. I have to really know that I want it or that it's my thing.
I think MMOs are not dead. They're pretty strong still. and they've just evolved to a point where they're not for me anymore. And a lot of the time is that a lot of it is that I just don't have the time that I want to invest in playing them like I used to.
MMOs are for people in their early 20s who have the time and to do crap. That's the other point as well. We've come to a point in our life where we don't have the amount of time, or even if we do have the amount of time, we're not willing to invest that X amount of time into it.
Yeah. That is very true.
It's not. It's also not even that. It's the fact that they are still really, really big. They're just not as big as they were because they had an explosion phase. And it's like, yeah, they peaked at 12 million and now they're at 5 million. Maybe 5 million was the normal number all along, but they just had a bubble. And the bubble burst and they came down as normal, and everyone's fine with the normal level of like 5 million or however many. And everyone can get on and will make money.
It's definitely a sustainable business model, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like they're going, oh, they used to have 12 million, now they have like 500,000. They've still got a fuckload of people playing it, so it's still there. It's just not.
I'd love to have some stats.
Not as it was.
Like I would still say that there's more people playing MMOs now than what you think is the heyday of when WoW had the most amount of players, because there's just more people playing games in general, and there's just more MMOs.
Yeah, probably that's very true as well.
Then you have to get it as a percentage of the total gaming population that are now playing MMOs to get a realistic, like, how well are they doing as opposed to how well they were doing.
Yeah, it's like kind of fudging statistics.
But MMOs can survive on like a good couple of 100,000 like regular players, I'm pretty sure. They don't need millions to survive. Just because there's all these MMOs out there, they could actually be spread really thin across them. It'd be interesting to see some numbers.
Things like Guild Wars or whatever still exist, don't they?
Yeah, Guild Wars 2 still going, but Final Fantasy 14 is the next big one. Like, that's the other one.
None of the Final Fantasies have been ever good, and no one's ever said anything good about them.
Final Fantasy 14 is supposed to be very good. Like, if you want an MMO to get into,
Max.
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be very good. No, it is
that as well.
It's got millions of subscribers. But
I thought it wasn't that great, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that great either. But it has a large player base, and it is the next biggest MMO after World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it's not. It wasn't bad, but it was just Final Fantasy WoW.
Well, yeah, it was. That's the problem. Is it's the same old combat system. It's the same. It's basically World of Warcraft with a Final Fantasy skin. It looks very, very pretty.
So no innovation whatsoever.
None.
Yeah, the class system's kind of different, but apart from that, yeah, not really. That's fair. I think that's fair. All right, at the risk of dragging this conversation out yet even longer, someone has brought up Star Citizen in chat, which, to be honest, is Star Citizen an MMO? I mean, do you guys know much about it?
I know nothing about it.
I've heard a bit about it, and I will play it when it comes out.
Yeah, I am very excited about Star Citizen, but there's not been a hype train to get on board yet, so I haven't brought it to you, Martin, I'm afraid. But it's a space sim. But it's a space sim that's had the most ludicrous amount of money ever thrown at a game ever.
We didn't get out to talk about the Kerbal Space Program. Next week. Next week,
108 million.
Next week, talk about Kerbal Space Program, because I want to hear about that.
I'll tell you all about it.
All right, we'll do that next week. So yeah, did you say 108 or 180 million?
I thought 108 million is the figure I read that it got in crowdfunding.
Yeah, it had other backers as well, from what I understand. It's had other backers along the way. I heard somewhere it might even have been up to as much as 200,000 has been spent on making. 200 million has been spent on making this game, and it is a space sim where it is like Elite Dangerous, which is probably the closest thing out to it at the moment. But it's a space sim where you fly around in space and you have lots of different spacecraft. I don't know if there's a leveling system in it or not, but there's definitely a way to progress and get more money and get better spacecraft, much like you do in Elite Dangerous. But there's also a first-person shooter aspect to it as well, so you can get out of your spacecraft and go onto space stations. I don't know if you can land on planets or not, but you can definitely explore space stations in a FPS-style environment. And it's a huge online universe that you can explore that's going to have thousands of other people in it. I mean, this could be the next evolution. Or
right, I love space sim stuff, and there's nothing like that's really interested me that much recently, or like in the last few years. But this one, I really am looking forward to.
Yeah, it does look cool. I think it is an MMO. I don't think you can not call it an MMO. It is a massively multiplayer online game. And it even goes so far as to say it is an RPG as well. It is a role-playing game.
There's a bit of a kind of blurry line between some games, like Destiny as well. I guess in that case you'd kind of call an MMO as well. But you know what I mean?
MMO in my mind has this different feel. Like you're only allowed to play an MMO if you're a nerd, and you're proper geeky, just like playing a game. If you're shooting stuff, you're pretty cool. I don't know.
So you're saying COD players are cool, but MMO players aren't?
No.
It's like the defining game.
We're all cool. I'm just saying.
Like, what do you play? COD. All right, you can come in.
And I'm talking about cool. From a popular culture kind of reference point, rather than my own opinion. Like, we're obviously all cool.
Obviously.
No.
By the way, crowdfunding for Star Citizen is only 1 million. I don't know. I can't find any information about whether or not it had other backers or not, but it's definitely had 1 million. Yes, Martin, your hair is very cool.
Thanks.
I'm sure the audio-only listeners are very, very glad that you put that wig back on.
I don't even got a problem. I'm cutting it now.
Somebody in chat was saying PlanetSide 2 is an MMO, but like, I guess you have a consistent, like a character that you keep, and you run around in a kind of semi-open. But like at that point, couldn't you just call like Call of Duty an MMO because it's a persistent character and it gets items and it levels up?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're just going into different maps instead of a slightly bigger world, which is PlanetSide.
You need to go into a world and be like getting gears and you level up that kind of thing. Not going into like specific instances.
The
you
reason
have to go into a larger world beyond a specific instance.
The reason that like the line has become so blurred is because there's no role playing aspects in the MMORPGs anymore. Like it's not a role playing game. It's just this is the cookie cutter spec that I must use, and then that's it. Like there is no role playing at all. They're just MMOs. They're just massively multiplayer online games as well. Like if the current iterations of World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy and whatever are, then yeah, why isn't PlanetSide 2 an MMO? Why isn't Call of Duty an MMO? Like I know it's ridiculous,
and it's massively. Call of Duty isn't. It's not thousands of people in the world. It's 24.
No. Well, PlanetSide 2 is, so then PlanetSide 2 is technically
true
by that standard. So yeah, PlanetSide 2 I'd say is an MMO for sure. All right, let's get ourselves through the news. I think.
Oh my god! I thought we were finished. Some of us go to work in like 2 hours.
2 hours.
Not that soon.
All right, I'll tell you what. There's. What was in the news? Was there anything that we desperately should be talking about?
Too good, James Harding, because he's pretty funny.
All right, I don't know. This is a pretty big discussion. Are you sure you want to get into this? We can save it for next week.
Maybe I don't. But let's do it anyway because it is the best discussion.
What discussion? What?
All right. So
do you know who Too Good James Harding is?
No.
He is a controversial caster. So,
no, well, is he that? I mean, he is controversial.
He is at the moment.
He is very funny. He is very funny.
No, to you, Martin, he's very funny.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't find him funny, which is why he's controversial.
Yeah. I
well done, Al. You just explained it perfectly. For what we're talking about is Too Good James Harding was sacked from hosting the Shanghai Majors this week. He was apparently after 1 day. This is apparently at the personal request of Gabe Newell. So the Shanghai Majors are a Dota 2 tournament, obviously a major tournament, hence in the name. After 1 day of casting, Gabe Newell himself, the CEO of Valve, who owns Dota 2, asked for him to be sacked. And then a whole slew of stuff happened on the internet, which actually started with Gabe himself, who decided that he needed to take to Reddit and make a very quick statement, which was, James, we've had issues with James at previous events. Some Valve people lobbied to bring him back to Shanghai, feeling that he deserved another chance. That was a mistake. James is an arse. We won't be working with him again. And then said, as long as we're firing people, we're also firing the production company that we've been working with on the Shanghai Major. They'll be replaced, and we hope to get this turned around before the main event. So shit happened. It got real very, very quickly.
It's refreshing in a certain way to see someone who's like a major person at a games company speak so frankly.
Yeah.
But obviously in like the context of major, games companies, this is not the kind of person you want, like, putting out releases about what's happened to stuff.
This is true.
What was the controversy?
General stuff.
Too good. James Harding, too good is like...
He makes some risque comments.
He opened this broadcast that ended up starting late by making a joke how he now wasn't going to be able to do something to do with jerking off. I can't.
He's essentially like he's very kind of like, I don't want to say edgy because edgy like makes it sound like, but like on the cusp of acceptable PG humor when you're meant to be doing a PG stream. And he does a lot of stuff to do with Dota, and he's been done a lot of stuff. He was like one of the guys who did a lot of stuff.
Did some StarCraft stuff as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And he was very he's one of the main people doing a lot of stuff to do with DreamHack and everything. He was like organising a lot of stuff.
A very, very early esports commentator.
Yeah. He's kind of like, I've always thought he was essentially the European version of DJ Wheat. Because he did actually, at the same time that DJ Wheat got a job working for Twitch, doing a lot of stuff of development and whatever to do with Twitch. So did Too Good James Harding. He got it, but on the European side of it rather than the US side of it. Basically, the two of them were seen as similar-ish kind of things. Apart from Too Good is like maybe a bit too much and goes a bit too far.
But I mean, it wasn't really bad.
He's extremely funny. He's extremely funny.
Or is it just people just getting like kind of fake insulted by it and just kicking up a fuss for no reason?
His argument.
You need to watch him. He's definitely past the line, but it's whether or not you enjoy it or not.
Yeah,
but I guess not past our line, but he's past a lot of people's line.
If you watched him, you'd appreciate that he's definitely past the line.
He's funny, it is amusing, and you'd enjoy it, and you can get it. But I think even his point, like he makes the point at the end of the series of comments where he's basically saying, I'm fired just because I'm not your cup of tea as a host. Well, that sucks, and you fucked it up. But that's kind of the thing that the guys made a call is that you're not my cup of tea, but I don't think you're the cup of tea for my audience that I want to have, or you're going to offend more people than I think you're going to entertain. So therefore, I'm going to remove you, which is fair enough. I mean, I enjoy him. I find him very funny. But yeah, I can obviously see where it wouldn't work out and where there may be. I think as the whole esports world moves into a more professional kind of stage, like you look at like at the LoL streams now. When I look at LCS, and I'm like, oh my god, like it's ridiculous how professional you are. It's like it's almost going too far. It's like please put on some like heavy rimmed spectacles because you need to be more nerdy. This is hurting me too much.
You compare that to like when we used to watch like StarCraft streams or like MLGs, like when they were first getting big.
Oh my god!
And like
MLGs.
it's just like two people sitting there talking into a camera for like 6 hours at a time, and that was it. And they cut away, and there'd just be like shots of the crowd, and that'd be like for like 20 minutes while they're setting up for the next thing. Is that now you've got like so good production value on some of the streams that it really does like make a lot of them look shameful.
Esports has moved on so far. Like what I was like watching esports probably like 6-7 years ago. I started watching all a lot of esports stuff, and it's moved so far from there. And listen to like a lot of general gaming stuff, like Live on 3 that and stuff like that, and DJ Wheat and people like that did.
So Martin, let me ask you this question: do you think that although you like him, do you think that he is a caster that should be in the current esports lineup?
He probably actually isn't. Like, as much as I actually like him, from everything, I don't know anything to do with this specific case from how he's been before. If I was trying to set up what esports is now, which is a lot more serious affair, then no, I wouldn't want him on.
I disagree completely with the way he is fired, and like it says, like, from what I read about other stuff, it says he was fired before, and like they got him, like they said, they lobbied to have him back, some people, and then got fired after one day. It's like if you fired him before, fair enough. If you rehire him, you know what you're getting. Like, everybody knows what he's like. Yeah, it's not like, oh, what he said, what?
If you have him back if you have him back again, you know what he's doing. This is what he does. Then like deal with it.
Yeah, it's kind of, you know, it's like going, that food yesterday was horrible. It's like, should we go back and get some more today? It's like, yeah, go on then. Oh, it's still horrible. Yeah, of course it was. It was horrible yesterday. Still gonna be horrible.
John.
If you don't like it.
John Price, those microwave ribs are still horrible. Stop eating them. Fuck me.
They were horrible yesterday. They're horrible when they're cold today, John. Stop eating them.
Right. Well, enough about John and his ribs. Poor old John. Yeah, well, one of the discussions that's happening is like, well, maybe... Like, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with this, but it's like maybe the community doesn't want esports to move towards regular sports and that kind of professionalism and that kind of level. Maybe the community actually wants it to be what James Harding does and what similar people like him do, where it isn't all politically correct and actually you can make blue jokes and it doesn't matter because that's what your target audience is.
Yeah, so you can have... This is the wonderful thing about the internet, Max. It's that you don't have to have one stream covering it. You can have a professional high quality stream, you can have an alternative stream, you can have many other people who are casting it themselves, and you can watch them on Twitch.
This is the thing though, when you've got someone like, I feel really sorry for him because he's got a disability. He's got a very similar disability that me and Al have, which is like, I just heard you say something and I can say something that's quite funny, but it's also probably rude and inappropriate, but fuck it, I'm going to say it anyway. Because I can't, my body will not let me stop. I don't know how, I can't not say it. That's what he has, and it's not good for how the companies are trying to do professional esports now. It's not good. It was very good at the beginning when you were trying to like get all the cool kids in, like, come in, watch this, it's funny,
and getting a bit of controversy and talking about it and getting some hype going.
And now it's like, oh, they're all in. I don't need that anymore. Now I want like this clean, clear-cut product that's like, you know, straight down the middle, like do this, like, you know,
and marketable.
Yeah, and very marketable. You can stick it on BBC Three like they fucking did, and stuff like that. You couldn't stick him on BBC Three, and that's not a knock against him. He's great fun. I love him. He's great. But you can't be a part of the mainstream if that's how you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're wanting to be part of the mainstream. And one of the big problems is that the people that are organising these things, they are the people and they want the money. And the money is in the mainstream. So they're going to be pushing it towards the mainstream as hard as they can.
Yeah.
Because
I don't just think like pushing it towards the mainstream just for the money. But it's like watching a highly produced, a well-produced product like the LOL things are now is way more enjoyable than watching the old, sitting there watching two people trying to fumble about and like fill airspace by talking about stuff. and then watching shots.
You're wrong. Because when those two people have tasted narcosis, then nothing is better than that. Nothing is better than tastosis.
But you can't have tastosis on every esports cast, Mark.
Well, we should. Not possible. We should.
I know we've got the cloning, going along, but it's years away. We have
the technology.
It's years away, and until that comes along, then we're going to have other casters. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Boo. Okay. We've been banging on for far too long. I can see Joe. Joe's thinking about his bed. I can see Martin. Martin's eyes are half open. Al's still in the same pose he's been in all night.
I didn't want to say anything, but
yeah, come on, Max.
I am actually getting up in 5 hours' time.
Al's still knocking back the pints.
Yeah, but let's wrap this one up, Max, because it's been murder holding that same pose for the last 2 hours.
Al needs to go play some games. He's got to go to bed in, I don't know, 8 hours' time or something, whatever, whenever he fucking feels like it. Wanker.
Well,
cheers, Mark.
Great. We have been the Game Genie Podcast. Al, give me an outro theme.
Whoa, you rushed that one, me. I haven't got one. Hang on a minute. Go to someone else.
Wow.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Good night.